One final race to go with the 2024 calendar year for the Classic Indycar Series. What better way to close out what's been an awesome championship than with the greatest spectacle in all of motorsports. Welcome to Gasoline Alley and to the 7th running of the Buttkicker Indianapolis 500. My name is Ola Rambo alongside Austin Edstrom. Austin, it is a race with over 100 years of history in the real world. It is one of the Triple Crown races in the real world. It is one of the most prestigious racing events in the entire motorsport community. Even if you don't watch IndyCar, everyone has heard of the Indy 500. There is no greater trophy to hoist than this one right here tonight.
Yeah, and the Classic IndyCar Series does a great job of putting this race at the very end of the season where it means the absolute most as well, Nolan. So I got to say, it's a little bit of a double dose for your money tonight. You get the championship and you get an Indy 500 winner all in one. I mean, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. 200 laps around this place, going to be absolutely mental. We've seen this series time and time again this year, week in, week out, put on absolute bangers of races, and I got to think, at Indianapolis, it's going to be no different.
Of course, tonight there is only one thing on drivers' minds. It's the big prize. The overall championship has already been locked up. That was decided at the Phoenix International Raceway based off of drop weeks. Cameron Dance stands as your 2024 champion. He said that takes a lot of weight off. He is going to be going all out. He was looking to run this race, just looking to get the points he needs to take the win. Now he can focus on getting the win for the last race on the season and take the greatest honors in this as well. Some of the big stories entering this race: Alexander Russell, the pole man, the driver that has the new speed record after pole day, not going to be on the grid tonight. He has got to focus on the eNASCAR qualifier that's taking place this afternoon. So instead, we are bringing in Jack Turner, one of the backup drivers that did not qualify. He will be filling up that back spot. Marshall Stanley as well, having to serve a penalty from earlier in the season, so he's going to be bumped back from his row 9 starting spot all the way down to the 11th row on the grid as well. But we're going to have 33 cars lined up for a 3-wide start this afternoon.
And I think it's going to be very, very important to pay attention to Jack Turner all night long. I always think it's important to look at a guy that doesn't qualify into the race. How well can they do in it? You know, they weren't even supposed to be here. They didn't qualify. So how well can he do with this opportunity that he didn't even earn, right? Like, no disrespect to Jack, but I mean, 34th on the qualifying charts, not in the race, and, well, a little bit of a stroke of luck, and here you are. What can you do with the opportunity? I can't wait to see what Jack can do.
He's, of course, just one of several Aero X cars that are going to be out there on the afternoon. So there is still a lot of racing action to go. 200 laps, 500 miles. It doesn't get any more fantastic than what we got cooking up for us here this afternoon. You've also got some newcomers entering the field, much like this driver right here, Michael Thorpe Jr., making the jump from the High Tide Racing League to come and race with us here on Sunday afternoon. Made a last-minute decision to jump into the car for pole day, had to re-qualify on bump day, and now Thorpe ready to see if he can put himself up with a good starting position in what will be his Classic IndyCar Series debut.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple guys that we don't typically see in the Classic IndyCar Series. You mentioned Michael Thorpe Jr. I'm looking at Austin McGill, raced against him in the High Tide Racing League on Monday night. So we got a couple people coming over from Monday. Good to see, you know, a big field attempt to qualify for this. Like we mentioned, we had guys not make the field. One of those being Jack Turner. You're looking at him on the back end of your screen on the right there. He did not make the race. He's here with an opportunity. A couple other guys made this thing an absolutely packed full 33-car field for tonight. I'm beside myself. This race is going to be fantastic all the way through. 200 laps of mayhem. But, you know, it's been a while since we've had an oval too, right? Or a high-speed oval, I should say. So I'm interested to see what these guys got.
That'll be an interesting ride for sure. Let's take a rundown of that starting grid as we get set to close out qualifying this afternoon. Back in the grid, we'll work our way back to front. Andrew Aiken at the tail of the field. Jack Turner takes up the spot of Alexander Russell with Chris Hamling beside them. They'll be at the very back of this 33-car grid this afternoon.
Lining up in row number 10, it's going to be Rafael Rodriguez with Matt Molnar and Hans Pittkinen on the very inside coming down the front stretch.
Moving on up to row number 9. You got Jamie Wilson with the Team Chimera car. Art McEwen had to really work for his qualifying spot. He started alongside Marshall Stanley on row number 9.
Moving up a row to row number 8 here. Starting on the outside is going to be Austin McGill in his first start. VJO, he's been here all season long, been a top contender. Going to be starting in the middle of row number 8, and then Andrew Wood down on his inside.
Row 7, it's Cesare Manzato, a driver that's making several starts this season. Lewis Woodall is in the middle of that 7th row. Franz Josef Stum, Airwax regular, down to the inside of that 7th row as we enter the top half of the field.
Moving up to row number 6, Lucas LaVille, season regular on the outside with season newcomer Michael Thorpe Jr. on his inside. And then on the very inside, also Ariel Guerra, first time I'm seeing him this season.
Row number 5, it's Jan Hoffman along with Caleb Weekly. Rob Barnicow crashed hard in pole day, was able to qualify himself into the top 24 though to avoid being bumped out on bump day.
Row number 4 is going to be Bobby Love on the outside with series regular Randy Shoemake stuck in the middle, and Mark Ehrlich is going to be lining up on the inside of number 4.
We bring it to the Fast 9 shootout contenders. Row number 3, Logan Simmons crashed in his qualifying effort on the Fast 9 shootout. Johnny Garrett's in the middle, and then it's Matthias Strauss to the inside of that row in 7th place.
All these guys now qualifying inside of the top 6 here for the Indy 500. Robert Grosser on the outside of row number 2 with Ethan Agan sandwiched in the middle, and your champion of the season, Cameron Dance, is going to be lining up on the inside of row number 2.
And then the fastest 3 cars from pole day. Thomas Mustonen dominated the road courses, looking to dominate the 500 as well. Henry Bennett, the previous meet record holder before he was bested by both Russell and your current pole sitter, Adam Blocker, at the front of the grid.
Oh boy, Nolan. I'm starting to get a little jittery. I don't typically get like a little nervous before broadcasts or jittery. Like typically it's just all normal. But man, this is a big one. I mean, it's so big that we don't even have a normal iRacing pace car. We've got a real guy. We've got a real guy sitting behind the pace car controlling that thing here tonight.
It is, of course, Gary Godzo, the owner of P1 Broadcasting. Huge IndyCar fan. He's been the pace car driver for quite a while for the Classic IndyCar Series. That is a beautiful race car. For those that are familiar, that's the Chevrolet Corvette C6.R GT1. One of my personal favorite GT1 cars. I think the Aston Martin might be the only thing that bested just for the sound alone. But right now, Godzo will be leading the field around. There's going to be 2 laps. Technically, this race is 202 laps. Those first 2, though, will just be to set up this 3-wide start as we prepare to take off from the Brickyard.
Oh, boy. I'm telling you, I'm getting nervous. This is going to be so exciting. And there might be a little bit of mayhem at the start, right? 3 wide starts on iRacing with how heavy the dirty air is in these Indy cars. I'm telling you, it's going to be a struggle around turns 1 and 2 this first lap. Very, very difficult for these guys to kind of get it sorted. But as soon as we get out of those corners, this race is going to be on, and it is going to be crazy the entire night. Big slipstream drafts coming down the straights. And the battle packs that we're going to see all throughout and people trying to navigate them is just going to create an unbelievable amount of hairy moments all throughout the field. It's going to be consistent chaos.
You see the field starting to fan out behind. You're riding on board with Godzo and the official Classic IndyCar Series pace car as they work their way through turn number 2. This is the second to last race where we'll go to green flag racing action. There you see Adam Blocker back there, pole position. He had the mother of all qualifying battles with Alexander Russell. And boy, that was such a wild race to see on the Fast 9 shootout. I'm sad you missed it. I mean, it was a great day. We had minimal crashes. Rob Barnicow had a big wreck. Thomas Mustonen slapped the wall, so his Fast 9 lap was invalidated. Johnny Garrett had his fast lap time invalidated. And then, of course, Hans Pittkinen nearly didn't qualify at all for this race because he crashed in the final 15 minutes of bump day qualifying, had to completely re-qualify the car after he had been safe before, was just pushed a bit too hard. Today, though, it's not about going fast in 4 laps. It's about going fast for 200.
Yeah, but like I mentioned just a second ago, that dirty air is such a big deal that those qualifying efforts are a huge deal. Like I said earlier, people miss the race. That's how big of a deal it was. But even if you're stuck back in row 8, row 9, row 10, I mean, the dirty air you're gonna be hit with going into these first couple corners, and honestly, the entire race, because you're going to be stuck in traffic the entire thing trying to come forward. It makes qualifying that much bigger of a deal. These guys starting in row 1, row 2, row 3. You know, you're looking at those guys as guys having a chance to win this race because they've got such a good starting position. Do you look back at 12th? Do you look back at 15th and think somebody can get through? It's possible, but you know, in 200 laps, anything can happen. But man, you'd much rather be starting in these first 3 rows.
We'll be going green flag racing this time by the Irish pace car, the Classic Indycar Series pace car, getting set to pull down and into pit road. Look at that, fanned up, formed out, 3 wide all the way through this field. I've never seen a full 33 car start. I've seen, you know, about 29. I've seen 28. Oh, I'm excited. This is going to be a great night. You can now see Gary Godso starting to accelerate away from this field in preparation for that green flag. Ladies and gentlemen, we are happy that you are joining us on Sunday afternoon. Take a look at one of the most infamous sights in all of motorsports. Time to get the party started. One final time. They work to Gasoline Alley. The 7th Buttkicker Indianapolis 500 is green. Coming around turn number 4 for the first time this afternoon, it will be Adam Blocker leading the charge as he takes off down the trip to the start-finish line, and Blocker leads lap number 1.
Yeah, Blocker had a good getaway on the inside, got to control the start of this race way down by the pit wall. Easily got away. Second place, Henry Bennett, he qualified there, able to stick in the position as Mustonen just could not get going from the very outside. But the top 3 starting to scoot away ever so slightly from Cameron Dance. But even bigger than that, Grosser back in 5th has really dropped anchor, and that's because Egan's looking to his inside down at turn number 3. He's going to sweep through and take the 4th place position. Or sorry, get himself into the top 5 there for Ethan Egan.
Iconic motorsports driver Ethan Egan on the move early on as he fights his way to the top 5, but he's got a second to run down your defending champion Cameron Dance. The top 4 on a massive breakaway from the field early on, 1.2 seconds clear from first to just, over a second and a half now back to Ethan Egan for Adam Blocker. Henry Bennett put under fire from Mustonen, but you got to think long term, and right now, Mustonen's going for the fuel save strategy, not going to make that look for second early on.
It really just shows that you got to get those side-by-side battles done as quick as possible, right? Egan got to the inside, made the move done in about a corner or 2, but he's still a second back from 4th place, over a second back from Cameron Dance after just trying to make one move. So you got to get them done quickly. These guys not really getting it done quick coming out of turn number 4. Robert Grosser trying to hang on here to the 6th place spot, hanging around the outside, but I think, 7th place. I think Logan Simmons is going to be able to take it down to 1. Grosser just having to go wide, give up the place here early. So Simmons making some moves, getting himself back up into a better position. Started back in the 9th place spot, so getting himself up to 6 early.
And further back in the pack here, well, you can't quite see the back of the shot, but you've got a battle between Lewis Woodall, Austin McGill, Cesare Monsato, all under a blanket right now as they work their way down to the turn number 3, side by side between Woodall and McGill, flying around to the turn numbers 3 and 4, and they're still going to remain 2 abreast as they work out of the turn number 4 and back down towards the yard of bricks. Monsato trying to decide what lane he wants to try to help out with that bit of an arrow push. And decision, keeping these guys side by side into the wall. Look out, 1 car around. That's a big crash. Lewis Woodall into the wall, big time. And we got our first caution of the night. Didn't take long to come out. Monsato out of the race. And with that, Lewis Woodall will be down and out as well. That right front is gone.
No, that's an early big one. Andrew Wood coming out of 2. His right rear is just completely destroyed. I mean, Rob Barnicow, he took a heavy impact into the inside wall. I think his left front's gone. That ends up being a massive accident for so many of these guys that were just minding their own business, weren't even in this thing.
13 just tracked wide into the marbles. Look at Mazzotto up into the air, nearly into the catch fence. Huge airborne crash there for the Italian. As he's going to slam back down to terra firma. And then this is what happened to Rob Barnicow and co. coming around through 2.
And this is why you don't want to start this far back. It's something that doesn't even have anything to do with you. And this is after the yellow flag's waving. The crash happened behind him. Oh no.
What was that?
Andrew? Is that Andrew Wood?
Yeah. Whoa, boy. Did he check up for the wreck?
No, I think he checked up because the yellow had to have come out, right? If you're Rob Barnicow, probably the yellow came out, but maybe just not. You typically don't want to let off right as the yellow comes out. Like you want to slow down with everybody whenever you're all bunched up. So maybe it just caught Andrew Wood out because they wrecked behind, and all of a sudden they're wrecking after the yellow.
Wow, I mean, 2 cars nearly going over there. Andrew Wood with a ride, Barnicow with a ride. We'll ride on board with Rob. We'll ride aboard with Cesare Mazzotto first, and then we'll get the look with Andrew Wood. He's coming around through. Oh my goodness! Man, he's very lucky that car didn't barrel roll into the fence there. That could have been a very nasty incident.
Well, his left front's broken though, right? So his race is over. I don't.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
Yeah, fair, I guess. But either way, he's definitely not happy about it. Just caught out with, nothing going on. I mean, he was just minding his own business, just hoping to squeeze through there. Somebody bounces off the wall in front of you, and all of a sudden your race is over, and then, 2 more guys crash further up. I'm a little lost, but like I said, this is why you didn't want to qualify in the back. You get caught up in other people's mess. You don't want to be around it.
It's so weird that Barnicow slowed up where he did. It almost looked like he might have been getting a little loose. Right on board, I'm very curious to see what we're going to see here. Then we'll cut back before we go back to green flag racing. Yeah, he was checked up for the yellow. Yeah. That's why you don't slow down like that in the middle of, especially in the middle of a corner when you're under yellow flag conditions, right? I mean, you got to have that awareness. I mean, if you want to slow up, do it on the straight. Don't do it mid-corner seconds after the yellow's coming out.
Yeah, through the corner, it's 1 lane, and he's on corner exit, right? So the guy right behind you is 100% going to be 100% throttle, right? So you're asking them to have just as good of reaction time as you, and I mean, sometimes that's going to work out, and sometimes it's just not. And a track like Indianapolis, like I said, it's 1 lane coming off the corner. You can't go anywhere else. So maybe should have just held onto the gas pedal just a little bit longer. I mean, it's tough because it's just an accident that happens behind them, and there's just a, unfortunate coming together, I guess, as the yellow comes out, but tough break for those guys early on.
We have a little poll going in the YouTube chat about where people think if we're going to get a 6th different winner. So far, they have run this race 7 different times, and in that period, there's only been 2 drivers. There's only been 1 driver to get a repeat win for the Indy 500, and that is T.M. Hauser. Henry Bennett's won 1 race, Grocher's won a race, Ethan Agan has won 1, and then Adam Blocker has won one of these races as well. So, kind of other than that, I mean, now the big question is, do we get another repeat winner, or do we get our 6th different winner in Indy 500 history with CIS?
I gotta think that we're gonna get a new winner here tonight. With the Indy 500, how big it is, how special it is, and we got a couple new guys up at the front. I'm leaning towards a new winner here tonight.
I mean, you say that, but Blocker and Bennett are 2 prior Indy 500 winners, and they're both running 1-2 right now early on. Not to mention, Adam Blocker is the Lionheart IndyCar Series champion. So, Blocker for sure, he knows what he's doing when it comes to IndyCars, and Bennett is no slouch either.
It's fair. We got 200 laps sorted out, though. We got 200 laps. I still expect there to be a little bit of mayhem. I don't think this is going to be the most straightforward race. It's not quite to NASCAR super speedway levels of insanity, randomness that doesn't have any integrity to it. But I do think we're gonna get a little bit of craziness up at the front of this race before long.
It wouldn't be a classic IndyCar Series race if there wasn't craziness involved, is it?
And remember last week at Phoenix, every time somebody would just get a little bit too low and touch that curbing down at the bottom. I say last week, the last race at Phoenix. They would just spin out every single time. I feel like Indianapolis is going to be similar, right? There's curbing down on the inside of these things, and you don't want to get too much of that curbing. right? A little nick of it of the tire is probably going to be okay, but if you get, you know, the entire tire on it, I think you might have bit off a little bit more than you can chew.
Pace car ducks into pit road. Green flag is out. And the Buttkicker Indianapolis 500 is back underway. A great getaway for Blocker, but could this mean trouble for him? Coming around to the back straightaway. Side by side already to turn one as the 31 car of Mike Gerlicka under fire from Johnny Garrett.
Tight battling here on the restart. The easiest spot to get our easiest time to get a position. So here early in the top 10. Oh, 3 wide down the back straightaway. Tight between the three. Oh, nearly contact. Way down to the inside of the racetrack goes Michael Thorpe Jr. in his first start, trying to make a name for himself early. Maybe a little bit too early, but he is going to pick up one spot here on Randy Shoemake, who's stuck way on the outside. LaVille taking one. And now Thorpe almost looking to the outside, going into turn 4, maybe going for the over-under. Looking to the inside, down the front straightaway. Thorpe trying to get another one.
Ripping down the front straightaway, Michael Thorpe Jr. getting around. Seasoned veteran Jan Hoffman dives into turn number 1, and now you saw right there, Shoemake trying again for 3 wide down to turn 1. Didn't happen though. Thorpe's got a good getaway working with him. Hoffman leads from LaVille in this little battle packet. They are just stacked up back through the field here.
Oh, man. 10th on back on these restarts is just scary, man. I mean, I don't even have a word for it. It is just absolutely nuts. Jamie Wilson back here further going for a move on Guerra Jr. I mean, everywhere I'm looking further back in the pack, somebody is just diving out of line at the very last second. Coming down to 1 and 3. I mean, you know, these straightaways, man, they're just so long, opening themselves up for somebody to draft by. And I'm looking at this train at the very front. Thorpe just made the move to get to the front, but Hoffman not letting him get away too far, and he's got a teammate behind him. I'd be a little worried if I was Thorpe Jr. here. Nobody to draft off of, and he's got 2 teammates right on his gearbox.
Jamie Wilson just made a pass up on Ariel Guerra Jr. as well. One of those cars that had to take a couple attempts to qualify because he slapped the wall big in the middle of the 1 and 2 shoot back on pole day. Guerra did manage to qualify within the top 24 to save himself from bump day. Now they are down 3 positions, yes, but still with a good chance to make up more ground throughout the course of this race. There you see the 32 car, Austin McGill looking to the inside of Caleb Weekly. And the team whatchamacallit Motorsports driver breaks through and into 16. Matt Molnar gets through as well.
McGill was just ahead of that wreck that happened to bring out that first caution, the early caution here about lap 6 of the race. So he got a little lucky just ahead of the issue. Now he's slowly moving up through the field from his starting position. He started back at 25th, man, and he's already up to 16th, or 16th. So it's a heck of a start for McGill so far. Further up the racetrack, though, Bennett's not letting Blocker get away for the race lead. It's within half a tenth between the two as they came across the stripe.
Absolutely screaming through turns 1 and 2 right now, and look at the battle that is headed up for the number 2 spot. Henry Bennett, Thomas Mustonen, right tucked up, rear wing to front wing, trying to run down Adam Blocker. Cameron Dance still with his striking distance behind if something goes wrong.
So again, a 4-car breakaway. We've seen it now on both starts. These 4 guys just have found a way to break away from the rest of the field a little early. Now, this is a long race. We know that fuel mileage, well, caution flag's out again, but we know fuel mileage comes in. Oh, no.
That's a big hit.
Andrew Aitken.
Looked like that was in turn 3, I think.
Just destroyed. Oh, my word. I'm
Yeah.
looking at his destroyed race car right now. That's bad.
Oh, contact with VJO, spins him up the track. Noses it hard into the outside wall, but that will be a single car incident.
And I gotta say it, VJO definitely missed his line at the bottom. He definitely did not get down to the bottom as good as he needed to whenever you're side by side. Just missed the mark.
It's gonna give him some damage on the right front as well for VJO's car, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but if you're Andrew Aitken, you're like, come on, man, this early and I'm destroyed. We're 15 laps into the race and my race is over. That's a tough break if you're Aitken.
It's lucky to draw. Remember in the past for the real race, how many times we have seen. Remember how many times we've seen pretty nasty incidents, even just on lap 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not pleasant. We do have some interesting tidbits to, I think, touch on as well. The Classic IndyCar Series, they've been around for, we're in their 10th season of competition. They've been around for, a decade now. And they made quite a few inroads as well. And one of those inroads has been with a particular man, George Anzaldo, who is currently trying to organize a new sim gaming expo. And he is here to tell us all about it. George, how are you doing this afternoon?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, kind of talk us through this little sim gaming expo. You're the one that's got all the details, and I mean, no better man to talk about it while pit stops are underway.
Well, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so actually, I'm producing the Sim Gaming Expo. It's an event that will celebrate all genres of simulation, virtual reality, gaming lifestyle, and technology. The event is going to take place on September 5th through the 7th next year in Chicago.
You mentioned, of course, being taking place in Chicago. What kind of events are we going to be seeing out there? Because, I mean, expos, they usually got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we've got 65,000 square feet of space reserved, so we're going to have a very large exhibitor area. We have an area dedicated for sim racing esports. Definitely, again, like we're going to celebrate all forms of sim, but my background's been in sim racing for a long time now. That's my passion and my love, and sim racing will play a big part of this event.
And how can people, is it sign up to go, or is it kind of just buy your ticket and you can walk on in?
Yeah, tickets will go on sale probably sometime early next year, probably in January. But you could visit our website at simgamingexpo.com or visit us on social media at simgamingexpo to stay tuned and follow us for all the latest developments.
That'll be great to see. I might even look into that if I got nothing going on down at the September months. Anybody you want to shout out as well before we head on out here, Anzaldo?
Yeah, just the entire iRacing community. I've been a part of it for a long time, organizing the Lionheart Racing Series, as well as just thanking Robert and his whole team at Classic IndyCar Series. They've been putting on a great series for so long now, and we've been great friends and just supporters of one another's endeavors. So, yeah, just a big shout out to CIS and all the drivers. They're putting on a great show. Absolutely love the 3-wide start. It's great to see, and they're putting on a great show. So looking forward to watching the rest of the race.
Well, we are about to go green, so we'll bid you farewell. Thank you for telling us all about it, and we'll hopefully see you again later.
Yeah, thanks. See you soon.
George Anzaldo, the representative for the Sim Gaming Expo. And once again, if you want to find out more information on that, you can go to simgamingexpo.com. Link to that has just been posted in the YouTube live feed over on Green Flag TV. And this race, of course, is going to be rebroadcasted on ESTV and all of their distribution platforms 1 week from today. Austin, lights have gone out, but hey, who doesn't like a good video game expo?
That's a good question. If you're watching a simulator online on YouTube right now, I gotta imagine you would like to go to an expo. So this is definitely the right target audience, I gotta say.
And the only thing that would stop me is if I'm doing more of this.
That's fair. That's a good point. A little bit of time constraints sometimes.
Yeah, it'll be good.
But
for a day event, you can make time.
I don't know, man. I'm busy.
I think we're all busy. But yeah, it'll be a good event. I'm very curious to see where that's going to go. That'll be very awesome to see. I'm glad that we can see this community able to branch out other places.
Oh, absolutely. 185 to go before the caution. I was going to start talking about fuel saving. Fuel saving is a huge part in the Indy 500. Who's playing the strategy game right off the drop of the bat? Right? Who is not going full throttle? I'm kind of looking through the field here on this next restart.
Still less than 20 laps in, and we are working caution flag number 2. There's the field going to work itself back into the restart zone. Pace car's off, blocker again, but a good jump. We're back to green.
Just so easy for the race leader to take off on the initial start, but typically just about impossible to break the draft unless the guy's starting in second, starting in the wrong gear. So you got to think Henry Bennett's going to be able to get right back to him and pull the same 2 cars behind him along with him, but further back in the pack, 10th on back is going to be a hornet's nest.
Well, this is even 20th on back here that are looking to go side by side as they hit the back straightaway. You got a lot of cars that were double file coming down to turn 1. Randy Schumacher and Austin McGill exchanging blows further behind. You see Rafael Rodriguez looking to the inside of Caleb Weekly, trying to make his way up another spot. Weekly just covering off Rodriguez there as we come around through turn numbers 3 and 4.
Oh, and now McGill looking to the inside of Shoemake, trying to pick up a spot, get himself back moving forward. He got himself up to 16th after the round of pit stops, all the way back to 21st. So McGill losing a couple positions over the pit sequence. Shoemake losing out there, but McGill just barely able to keep himself within the draft of the cars in front. Should be able to pull himself up and within the fight. It's about, can he pull these cars behind him with him? Is Shoemake going to be able to stay right on the gearbox of McGill moving forward?
It's going to be a tough fight. Caleb Weekly still within striking distance as well. He's not going to make any kind of move down to the turn number 3. Got to watch those inside curbing strips on the inside of the racetrack. They will easily spin one of these cars around. I've seen it before, even in these older IRO 5s. They don't play nice, even in stock cars, let alone in lightweight Indy cars like these.
And we saw it at Phoenix a couple weeks ago. It's not good to hit the curbing down at the bottom here at the speed. Just not going to work out for you through the middle of the corner. Maybe you can get away with it in turn 2. I feel like it's the banking and the curbing isn't as egregious, but in other corners, I don't know. You're just going for a little bit too much. So something we're going to have to pay attention to all night. I think we're going to see at least one accident because of somebody hitting that tonight.
Jan Hoffman dropping 2 positions as he'll lose out to both the Frenchman Lucas Laville and the Canadian Matt Molnar in the same corner now. He's got Bobby Love, the American, trying to get around him as well in that 05 car. Well, that's all going on. Strauss making up another position. He's back into the top 9. Ethan Hagen and Logan Simmons running back in 10th and 11th as it stands.
Man, everybody just pushing it to the absolute limit. Absolutely nothing between these guys' right rears and the safer barrier as they come out of the corner, pushing it for everything here. Still 180 to go. You just can't give up any of this track position. It is so important, even in the early going. You see Ethan Hagen trying to make up another spot here, right behind Strauss, fighting for the 9th place spot. Hagen with a little bit of help here from Logan Simmons behind as well, pushing down the front straightaway. And then further up, another battle. Down into turn number 1. Wilson making the move.
Wilson making a big move up on Robert Grosser. Marshall Stanley now linked up with one of his Vortex Sim Racing teammates. And back behind, how about Michael Thorpe Jr. on the move? Could go 3 wide here down the back straightaway. Gerlich is caught in the middle. Laville going 2 for 2 down the back straightaway. Bold moves being made early on. Laville takes 2 spots in 1 straight.
Molnar, not giving him any room. Molnar somehow going to come through, pick up a couple positions himself, just following Laville through this pack of cars. 3 wide down the back, and then 2 rows of 2 down to 3 and 4. Can't believe we got out the other end. Oh, the 29's not going to be able to complete the pass, though. I thought for sure that Molnar was going to be able to get there, but Thorpe Jr. just covered him off, told him that that spot was going to be his.
The margins are so fine at this racetrack. You cannot afford any kind of misstep. I mean, again, it's not like the stock car racing that we get you with the Brickyard 400, right, where you can afford to take a hit or 2. You make one mistake here, you are done, and you're more than likely either going to be hard into a wall or on your lid. It is that tight, and we're talking millimeters, micrometers even. It is unreal how tight the margins are when you're racing at over 200 miles an hour in the corners, no less, trying to get down these straights.
Yeah, any little bit of contact in these things is most likely a race ender, right? If you make contact with another car, you're done. You're getting up to 230 miles an hour at the end of the straightaways. I mean, you're not getting away with any type of contact at those speeds, and if you do, it's because you're daggum lucky. There's just about no skill involved in it. So the skill is making sure you don't hit anybody. Up at the front, though, again, a 4-car breakaway. Johnny Garrett did a little bit better this go-around. He was keeping up with these guys, but the last couple laps, Dance was just able to get away from him, and Garrett has started to slide back. But he's done a good job giving himself a gap to the cars behind, kind of finding himself in no man's land now. But hey, 5th place, that's pretty good to me. I'd be happy with having nobody pressuring me from behind if I'm sitting in 5th.
Trouble!
Oh, spinner down to the turn 2.
That's Austin McGill. The Civic machine is down off the racetrack in turn 2. No caution. We're going to keep it green. Single car accident, and it looks like that car is still drivable. So he is down, not out just yet. Henry Bennett closing in as well, and we'll try to get a lock on what happened to Austin McGill. This was coming around through turns 1 and 2.
It's a huge save from McGill coming out of 1. He ends up just about slamming the outside wall. The back end steps out on him, keeps it going down to the inside. Almost slams the inside wall, hangs on through the grass, keeps that thing in one piece, does not hit a thing. Those tires aren't happy with him, but guess what? He's still on the lead lap by 18 seconds. All he needs is a caution flag, and he's right back in this thing. So that's, I mean, it's not great, but that's making the best out of a bad case.
He didn't even hit the wall. I mean, look at this. Yikes! Just keeps it off the outside wall, and that is some heads-up driving right there. Sure, he lost even more time when he lost in turn 2, but that's just overheated tires. He'll have to take a lap or two to get them properly cooled down, but you know, he gets a caution. He's right back in this race.
Yep. That's the big difference, right? You're keeping yourself in it. And in a race like this, 175 laps to go, we've already got 5 drivers retired due to incidents, right? You're going to get spots just from the war of attrition. Keep yourself on the lead lap. Keep yourself in this race, and well, that's what McGill did there. It's going to sting until that caution flag flies, but as long as he continues to keep that thing in one piece, he's going to be smiling at some point later.
Look at Rafael Rodriguez trying to fight the outside of Guerra to try to hang on to the spot. It's not going to happen. Got something working for him in the chute, but, you know, 2 turns in a row, it's not. Oh, that's brave. That's brave. Way down towards the pit wall as Rodriguez makes the dive, takes the spot back around the inside for Guerra, slides up, slide job, and a happen in Indycar. Never see that in Indianapolis. How that's not a caution is thanks to Guerra's heads-up driving to read that situation.
This is fighting for 20th with 174 laps to go. That's the allure of the Indy 500. That's how much this means. These guys been waiting around all season long to be able to go out here and show their stuff tonight, be able to have a chance to win this thing. And, well, Rodriguez, in order to win it, you got to pick your way through the field, but you've also got to keep that car clean. That was a little risky through 1 last time.
Here you see Jan Hoffman and Mike Gerlicka running back in 16th as it stands, with Gerlicka hanging on to the number 17 position for the ARX car. He's got one of the GGA Esports machines along with one of the Vortex Sim Racing cars in front of him, and Jan Hoffman looks for the inside of Thorpe, dives to the inside, and Hoffman gets through.
Hoffman making the move. I'm telling you, the most comfortable person out here right now is Johnny Garrett. I think he's the only guy that, other than McGill, that is just completely on his own, and he is sitting in such a good spot up in the top 5. I mean, I'm telling you, being up in 5th, you're not fighting anybody. You're just managing your stuff. Don't have to worry about pushing, and he's putting a cap on the cars behind, even being by himself. That big battle pack behind him, he's put 3 or 4 tenths on him since the last time I talked about him. So if I'm looking at somebody that, you know, is not showing the race winning pace, but is just doing what he needs to do, that I think is how you win these kind of big events. I'm looking at Johnny Garrett, man. I'm throwing the early tip of the cap to Garrett to win this thing at the end.
Well, the problem that Garrett's got right now is he's really not closing in on the top 4 at all. He is only losing time, and that time is slowly seeing him drop. Oh, careful. It is seeing him slowly but surely drop back towards the 5th place spot. Now, it's not as if he's lost the draft at a track like Daytona or Talladega, right? I mean, this is definitely still salvageable, but he's got to get something working for him once this pack spreads out a little bit.
I mean, he's got no dirty air to deal with. So he can get through the corners really quick. He's definitely giving up some time to some of the guys in these packs on the straightaways, but he's gaining a whole lot through the corners. And he's been able to keep that gap consistent to the guys behind. Now, the problem is Logan Simmons just cleared to be the first car of that second pack, and I think Simmons has a little bit more speed than the guys that had been leading it before. So Logan could very well get a couple of these guys up to Johnny Garrett, but I just like the position Garrett's in at this position. He's not around any type of danger. He's just found himself in his own little bubble. You know, these guys fighting up at the front, if one of them decides to make a move and has an issue, all 4 of them are in danger. Garrett's back there in a safe pocket. McGill? Is this Austin McGill coming down?
Yeah, it sure is. Austin McGill, the first car to bail to pit road under green flag conditions. Not sure if he's throwing in the towel or if he's going for a potential scheduled stop. The pit stop window is kind of around 32 to 37 laps thereabouts, so we are right in that window for drivers that stayed out under that caution, which right now is the top 6 plus Wilson, plus Stanley. This is the winner. We're going to be seeing a lot of them coming down to pit road. So we are about to see Logan Simmons cycling to the front.
Yeah, like you said, the guys that hadn't come down pit road already are about to have to. But, you know, Austin McGill was one of those that did. He just had that little half spin. So I guess he decided he needed to come down, take tires, and just get himself on a different strategy. But he's going to have to wait for these other guys. Actually, he's still staying in pit road, so he might have had more damage that brought him to pit road. I'm not too sure.
Maybe he had another slap with the wall. That would do it for sure. Maybe got that meatball flag. That looks like it'll be day over, though, for Austin McGill. I mean, there's no lucky dogs. Once you go down a lap, that's pretty much it. I mean, you don't have a shot to win at that point on unless you can do something crazy in the pit stop cycles. Try to get up there, and caution.
That's the yellow he needed. If he would have just
it's Thorpe!
For another...
It's Thorpe!
Oh, no. His wheels are okay, but he's going to need a new nose.
I don't know. That left front, man, that left front ain't looking good.
Right, you're right. That thing is a little off.
So looking like another single car incident now. Was this assisted is the question.
Nope.
He is behind Jen Hoffman, I want to say that is. And just lost it. Lost it in the dirty air. Spun it out. And eventually it just goes up the track and noses it big time into the outside wall in two.
Oh, I don't know. He might be okay. It doesn't look terrible.
Depends on how long it takes to get
shocked.
that wishbone fixed.
I'm trying to look at other cars left front, and they're all angled pretty similarly. He stayed out the racetrack this time too, so he didn't come down immediately.
So it's drive
mostly
based.
Yeah, and look at the contact that he ends up making to the wall, all with the nose there. So he might have escaped that as lucky as he could have, I'd say. I mean, everybody else that's crashed into the fence has had their tire fly off the car. So I'd say Thorpe has definitely been the luckiest so far.
That's both of the drivers from the High Tide Racing League invasion, though, that are now out of the race in the first quarter. I mean, I say out of the race kind of subjectively. I mean, McGill is back in the running, but he's 2 laps down now, so he's not going to be able to do much in this race. And whether
We'll take a wave here.
Well, whether Thorpe's out or not is really going to depend on how long it takes to get that car fixed. If he can get it fixed at a caution without losing a lap, he might still be in this thing.
You do get a wave around in IndyCar, right?
Not a lucky dog. You have to stay out and not pit to get a wave around. Okay,
so McGill just did that. So he's going to be 1 down.
I'm not surprised because he did just pit 5 laps before this came out. So,
but in 166 laps, can he get another one of those? That's going to be very, very tough.
Odds are in his favor, though, based on the number of cautions we've had so far just in this first half alone. You see the race off pit road. That'll go the way of Adam Blocker. Takes up the race lead. Henry Bennett back in the number 2 spot. Moves in and picks up 3rd. Then it's Simmons, Strauss, Garrett, Dance, Egan, Groscher, and Molnar for the top 10.
We were dangerously close to having a big-time track position flip with the top 6 having to come down pit road. If that caution would have came out 3 laps later, then, well, all those guys would have been down on pit road and would have been on a little bit older tires for this restart, but now they're kind of evened out with everybody. But Adam Blocker, kind of the big beneficiary out of this, evened out with everybody, and now it's just going to be the same 3 guys that he's kind of had train away with him every time so far. I'm just kind of waiting. Is there anybody that's going to get through the pack that can kind of stick with those 4, right? I'm looking at Logan Simmons. He's gotten through. All of a sudden, he's 4th. Cameron Dance had a bad set of pit stops, so he's going to go back to 7th place on this restart. Can Dance clear those guys in front of him quick enough to stay with the top 4? It's going to be tough for him. But I think that there's more than 4 guys that can challenge for this race win tonight. I think, like I said, Simmons might be able to stay up there. I think Johnny Garrett's got a little bit more in him. Ethan Agan's been working through the pack. We got a lot of guys that are making moves. Lucas LaVille from 19th to 10th. We got a lot of guys that are coming through. So this one's still up in the air.
Seeing if the lights will turn out this time by aboard the iRacing pace car. As this field continues to steadily march onward towards the tail end of this race. It's been a pretty good run so far. Well, I just heard a McGill accelerate, so that tells you that yes, we are going green this time by.
Austin McGill getting that wave, getting back to 1 down. I don't see an opportunity for him to have everybody else come down pit road whenever he doesn't need to. Again, it's just going to be so tough for him to get that lucky break, but hopefully for McGill, he can get back in this thing. Looking back up at the front, though, I mean, Adam Blocker's had a heck of a start to this race. He's led every single lap so far, started from the pole. Now, the only thing is he hasn't really been challenged. He's had 3 guys right behind him that have rode with him, saving gas, but nobody's really put the moves on him or tried to yet. Whenever it's, you know, the saving time is done and it's time to really go at it, which of these guys is really going to be the quickest of them all and going to be able to make the moves to get to the front?
Well, now what this does reset the field, right? So we were talking about how the top 6, they were going to have to come down pit road. That would drop them all the way through the field. With everybody pitting under that last caution flag, now everybody's back on the same cycle. Some did take fuel only, some did opt for tires. Which strategy is successful is going to really depend on how this restart goes down, and we'll see who's going to end up where. But the iRacing pace car getting set to pull down into pit road, this time by. And we'll kick off racing action once again from Gasoline Alley. Single file, Blocker hugging the outside line. No surprises there. This is working his way back to the front straightaway. Green flags out. We're back underway at the Indy 500.
Bennett again not getting a good start, but Moostonen nowhere close to even be able to challenge for the 2nd position. Top 4 kind of singling out here, but side by side for 5th place. A little bit further back, Strauss and Dance. Dance with a hefty restart, getting past Johnny Garrett, and now powering around the outside. What a restart from Dance to keep himself within challenging distance of the top 4.
Blocker, Bennett, Moostonen, Simmons, and Dance right now for the top 5. And again, it's the usual crew starting to break away from the rest of the field. Moostonen has got iconic motorsports teammate Logan Simmons to give him a helping hand from behind. Worth noting, Michael Thorpe Jr. was able to repair that damage and not lose a lap under this caution, so he is still not out of the fight yet after crashing to bring out yellow flag number 3.
Side by side down the back, trying to make a move down to the inside. Johnny Garrett starting to go backwards. Ethan Hagen looking down to the inside for the 7th place position. Down to the turn number 3, Garrett's going to have to lift. And Hagen's going to be able to go through, take the spot. Still firmly in the draft of Strauss, too. And like I said, Hagen's been coming through the field. I feel like he's just a little bit quicker than the rest of these guys in the mid-pack. I think he's got race-winning pace. If he could just clear Strauss, he's got an opportunity to drive up to the top 5 here.
Cameron Dance, last lap by, set the fastest lap of the race, a 40.68, and I am thinking, looking through, that's the only car right now that has gone into the 40.6 second range all race long so far. The next closest time is in the 7s. So right now, Cameron Dance is flying, no doubt, on some fresh rubber.
Oh yeah, Dance is absolutely moving. He had the restart of his life to be able to keep himself up here with these guys, and now all over the back gearbox of Logan Simmons, trying to get back into the top 4. But does Dance just stay in line and try to push these guys up, keep themselves within challenging distance of, you know, the top 2, or does he try to get through them and get himself up there by himself?
Up front, Adam Blocker and Henry Bennett not really doing much to exchange blows so far. Blocker has led every single lap of the Indianapolis 500 without fail. Deep in the field, you've got a potential battle picking up between Matt Molnar and Lucas LaVille. And just in front of them, Ethan Hagen, once again in a battle, this time with Matthias Strauss, as Hagen tries to fight his way up to 6th.
Yep, Hagen's going to get there. Now he's just got a little bit of a gap to Cameron Dance, about a second between the two, a little over that. Can Hagen bridge that gap well out of the slipstream? As long as he doesn't get a challenge, though, from behind. Ethan Hagen has been quick. He's been rapid all night long, getting himself back up into the top 6 where he started. But Garrett and Strauss are starting to struggle, man. Back to 7th and 8th. Starting to let a couple of these guys come through that have, you know, they just had a slow start to the race. Hagen, Logan Simmons started back in 10th. Just having to kind of pick their way back through the pack. And now Garrett and Strauss are starting to kind of find their normal running order, I suppose.
And there you see Art McEwen right now in a battle with Bobby Love and Christopher Hemmeling. This is for spots back in 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. As in fact, Hemmeling now looking to the inside of Love. And Michael Thorpe Jr. coming back down to pit road as he is, I think, still nursing some damage. Tried it out, and I don't think he liked what he was seeing. Now, granted, the nose cone is still on that car. There's, of course, still that iRacing visual bug where a cone pops off. It sometimes doesn't reappear on, but I promise you, it is there. There's no way he was ripping 213 through these turns without it.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit too much of a struggle for Thorpe to continue. Obviously, coming back down pit road, just thinking he's gonna be calling it quits. That car was just well off the pace. Like you said, he's still ripping 213, but ultimately these other guys are ripping about 215, 216, making the max pace. So still just a little bit off of it there for Thorpe, having to come back down pit road. Tough end of the night, but like I said, it was going to be a war of attrition. We're starting to see it. A couple guys just starting to take themselves out.
So far, Andrew Wood, Cesare Mansato, Rob Barnicow, Lewis Woodall, Andrew Aitken, and now looking to be Michael Thorpe Jr. have all crashed out of this race or retired for one reason or another. We thought McGill might be joining them, but he did manage to get back out on the racetrack and now sits only one lap down. So as it stands, out of the 33 cars that started this race, 27 remain on the racetrack and 26 of those are on the lead lap, and that is just shy of the 1 quarter mark in this race.
Goodness, whenever these guys come out of turn 1 on this one camera angle and there's like 5 or 6 in the frame, sometimes it just looks like it's in fast motion, like they're sped up. I mean, these things are just absolutely flying out of the corner. It's ridiculous. Agan having to make another move. Garrett had gotten back by him, and now Garrett losing 2 spots as Agan gets 6th place back from him. But now this pack is completely lost touch with the top 5.
It's very easy to get freight trained in these turns here. I mean, these cars have no multi-groove capabilities on them when it comes to these turns. There's only one way to pass, and that is on the inside. You are not going to be able to hang on from the outside line. You just need to run too precise of a line to keep momentum up here. You can see right there, Johnny Garrett's trying, not able to do it though. Matt Molnar making it 3 wide down the inside of LaVille. Garrett will manage to hang on this time around, making me eat my words. As LaVille
and how about Molnar? Molnar's up from 30th, up to the top 10 already in just 44 laps. I mean, that's pretty rapid pace out of Molnar. Maybe he's got something for the top couple of guys. I mean, he barely made the show. He was on the second to last row, and he's gotten himself up to the top 10. What in the world is this man on?
He is on dreams, hopes and dreams right now. Hard chart of the day so far, 20 spots gained. The next closest driver to him in terms of spots gained would be Jamie Wilson, plus 16, along with Rafael Rodriguez. And then, of course, Marshall Stanley, plus 13 on the day. But only one of these drivers is in the top 10, and right now, that is Molnar.
Yeah, it's just a standout drive for Molnar so far. But again, we're only not even a fourth of the way through this thing. You know, we're just about to get up there. And so far, you can tell it at the front of the field because they have just been so content to ride behind Adam Blocker and save fuel the entire time. They know we're just early in this thing. No reason to go all out and risk my race car. They've seen from all the caution so far just how easy it is to tear this thing to pieces, right? So you got to be careful. Save that thing until the very end. But at the front, I mean, they are just, they're really fuel saving to the max. I mean, they're just not challenging Adam whatsoever.
And we do have confirmation, by the way, that Michael Thorpe Jr. is down and out of the Indy 500 due to a lost front wing. We're going to try to bring up Michael Thorpe Jr. now, and we'll get a word with him, the driver that will currently be scored officially 28th on the pylon. Michael, not the day you were hoping to have. Henry Bennett, as I say, that takes away the race lead. Adam Blocker dropped back to, oh my goodness, dropping back to big way. So drops back to 4th, might drop all back to 5th, looking to not save a bit of fuel. But Michael, not the way we're hoping to have this race go down for you. What happened there?
I just lost at the rear end and just from the wind. and dirty air. I mean, there's not much I could do there. I tried to save it, but the thing snap on you pretty quick.
Of course, this was your first ever appearance with the Classic IndyCar Series team, and while you might not have finished the Indy 500, you did make it to the show, which is more than some of the guys that have run in this race several times can boast to. That all said, are we going to be seeing you back for full season competition in 25?
We will see. It's a big pin on that, but we will see. But right now, just gotta hope Austin gets back in the race here and just give all he's got.
What's up next for you then on this Sunday afternoon? Now that you're watching from the sidelines.
Well, just cheer on my teammate and just watch the rest of the race. See who comes out on top.
Well, sounds like a solid plan. You at least get to watch one heck of a race that's looking set to kick off. We'll be seeing you hopefully again then on Monday night.
Thank you, guys.
Michael Thornton Jr. for GJ Esports having a tough break this afternoon in his CIS debut, down and out of the race. But again, he did make the show, and on pole day he had qualified up in the top 20. That's not nothing. I mean, he has pace. He can be competitive here. I'm going to be very excited if we see him back in action for 2025. He'd be a great addition to the grid.
And I'll be a little candid here. I feel like a NASCAR guy coming over, because that's what I feel like Michael Thorpe is, right? He's mostly a NASCAR guy. And, you know, myself, whenever, I'm a NASCAR guy, I come over to the IndyCar races. Man, I got some decent pace at the beginning. I'm like, yeah, everything's going good. And then about 20, 30, 40 laps into a big, long race like this, I take myself out of it, similar to where Thorpe did. Man, you come over to these IndyCars and it's a different beast. The littlest of movements in the wheel is all it takes to overcorrect, right? The stock cars, it takes a lot more wheel movement to kind of get those things corrected whenever you're loose. The IndyCar, once you get it loose, you're just about not saving it unless you just get out of the gas. And it's a big change coming over here. So I think Thorpe, like you said, he did a good job. And honestly, what you would kind of expect from a NASCAR guy coming over to one of these things.
He is known to the High Tide Racing League for his absolute monstrous save. And if you regularly watch on Monday nights, you'll know what we're talking about, right? I mean, the amount of saves that man has had is on a new level. And yet all the same, those tactics, they don't work in an IndyCar going 220 miles an hour.
No, definitely not.
You can try, but to be fair, he did mitigate the damage quite a bit from what it could have been. But yeah, not a save at the end of the day. But who knows? Maybe we'll see him back. Maybe we won't. For now, we got a race to call. Marshall Stanley getting around James Wilson for 12.
Yeah, Stanley making the moves. Stanley's been moving up through the race as well. Started back in 26. He's gotten up to 12. So Stanley, I mean, that's a heck of a drive so far. Only 50 laps into this thing. He's still got a long ways to go to get himself maybe into the top 5 by the end of the night. And, you know, guys like LaVille, he's moved up as well. We talked about Molnar. He's gotten himself up to 8th. That's a guy I'm really looking at to get into the top 5. He might have race-winning pace from the second to last row on the grid. I mean, that's crazy for Molnar.
Adam Blocker did strategically drop out of the lead in order to give somebody else a chance at the front so he could save some fuel, but he's not content with running back in 5th, clearly, because he just made the move on Cameron Dance to get back up in a 4th.
Yeah, I feel like Blocker just knew that he was burning too much gas up at the front. These guys were just basically pushing him down the straightaway. I think he was trying to save gas, but everybody else would just line up, not do anything, and Bennett was just all over the gearbox. Probably 30% throttle, just able to keep it right where he needed it to. So Blocker probably doing the smart thing, getting back in here, and Dance falling in behind him. Honestly, you probably want somebody behind you, give you a little bit of an air bubble pushing you forward too, saves you a little bit more gas. So probably the right spot for Blocker to be in after leading the first 10, 15 laps of this run.
And right now, Henry Bennett, Thomas Musadin, Logan Simmons, Adam Blocker, Cameron Diaz running up there with the top 5. Further behind, Ethan Engen, Matt Molnar, and Matthias Strauss are still all under blank as well. Further behind them, you got a three-car train with Stanley, Wilson, and Weekly, 3 series regulars. And then you got VJO, Mike Erlicka, and Ariel Guerra Jr. So there is a lot of guys that are still looking to have some pretty big runs going for them. And right now, I think it's eyes up front to see what this fuel strategy is going to be. Oh, pass for behind as looking like the 28 of Strauss started to drop back.
Yep, Strauss stuck on the outside of the racetrack here. Molnar continuing his hard charge towards the front. And who would have thought? I mean, starting on the second to the last row of the grid for Matt Molnar. And he has somehow gotten himself up to the 8th place position, and he's not done yet. I mean, he still wants more up here. Strauss right in front of him, who's been dropping spots since the restart. looking to maybe drop another one because Molnar is just coming through the pack through turn 2 here. Getting a nice wide aerial shot. Zooming back down in on the back straightaways. Molnar has a good draft. Coming all the way down the backstretch. Coming out of turn number 3, I thought for sure Molnar would go for the move. Had plenty in it, but just thinking twice on it. Staying back in line on Strauss. Just not quite willing to put the nose in. Wants to make sure that he's got enough of a slipstream down one of these long straightaways. Problem is, Strauss also has a big trap from Egan right in front, and he's not really willing to pass Egan. I think these guys kind of just settling for fuel saving at this point, but they are running down the top 5 ever so slightly. I'm kind of surprised that Egan, Strauss, Molnar are running a little bit quicker than the guys like Dance and Simmons, but they are just breaking into that gap ever so slightly.
Jamie Wilson, Caleb Weekly, Rafael Rodriguez all in the battle of their own further down the field. So 2 iconic motorsports drivers trying to gang up on Team Chimera here. It's awesome to see, so much individuality in the paint schemes, yet you still see the similar branding, right? It's awesome to see, for example, the iconic guys. You can tell who's who right away because they got their first name plastered on the wings.
It makes it pretty easy. It definitely makes it a little easier to figure out who's who. And we did have a pass for the lead. Bennett got out of the way for Mooston, and Mooston had a good run out of 2. And Bennett decided that he wanted to be on the fuel-saving end of things here, so he dropped back into the pack, back to 4th.
And you see him dropping back to the number 4 spot. Cameron Dance not able to get around him as well. And this was that pass for the lead as Logan Simmons to the inside. Pretty textbook overtake there coming down to the turn 3.
Yeah, and I think that second pack was gaining on these guys for a little bit just because of that change for the lead. Ever since that, well, actually, yellow flag flying.
Oh, big crash. That's Hans Pitkanen.
Oh no.
He's already crashed once on the Indy 500 month of November. His last big wreck came in during bump day, right at the tail end of that qualifying day, and this time around, looking like just like bump day. Oh, it's the same thing I'm thinking here. Yeah, the wind just pushed that car around. That is so similar to what happened on bump day, though on the opposite end of the racetrack this time.
Tough break for Pitkanen. I mean, just low coming out of the corner, too. I mean, he might have gotten the tiniest of touch of the curb. I mean, maybe just got too low through the corner. Just a weird solo car incident for Hans.
And that will put us under the yellow flag now for the 4th time this afternoon. As he never touched the curb. I mean, this is literally what happened on bump day, but it was over in turn 2. Just got a little bit low, high-speed part of the corner, right on the throttle. The back end just came around on him. Well, you got ourselves under the yellow flag for the 4th time now this afternoon. Buttkicker, of course, the big sponsors for all of the Triple Crown events, including the Indianapolis 500, and they got a little bit of a special message for this grid. Let's take a look at that now, and then we'll be back in a moment.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. My name is Zach, Community and Content Manager for Buttkicker. And so a lot of you know who we are and what we do, but for those of you who don't know what we do or kind of want to know more, let's get into it. Buttkickers are haptic transducers that generate vibration based on audio signal. We're in cinemas and home theaters around the world, and are a favorite of gamers, specifically flight simmers and sim racers. And these are kind of 2 areas where Buttkicker really shines. Through our Haptic Connect software, we take telemetry data from the sim and translate that into real-time accurate feedback. And so what this could look like is you feel your wheels slipping whenever you're pushing too hard, or you feel the engine vibration, or you feel the rumble strips whenever you get to the edge of the track. This information is invaluable to drivers during a race, and it kind of helps to close that gap between the sim and the driver by introducing the feeling of being in an actual car. We have two options in our gaming lineup, the Gamer Plus and the Gamer Pro. Both models offer USB-C connectivity, premium cabling, digital amp displays, and they also both come with our 80/20 post mount as well as Haptic Connect standard version, both included at no charge. So the Gamer Plus comes with a clamp mount option as well as 3 bolt feet in case you want to bolt straight to your chair, straight to your rig. And it has 6 ounces of moving mass inside, which makes the Plus perfect for gaming chairs or your lighter rigs. And the Pro has the clamp mount option available, and it has 16 ounces of moving mass inside. So that makes the Pro kind of ideal for really heavy, sturdy rigs, or those of us who just want kind of a little extra shake. Both the Plus and the Pro can be used in multiple unit configurations. You could do front and back, left and right, or 4 corners, and you just set those up right in Haptic Connect, and the software kind of does all the back end work of mixing and balancing these different effects. The spatialized haptic options just take what is already a great thing and just kind of add some more detail and more layers to it. I guess the last thing I'll leave you guys with is the haptics are an important piece of the sim racing ecosystem, and it's something that you kind of have to try for yourself before you can understand the difference that it makes. One of our most common comments is, "I can't drive without it," or "I forgot to turn it on and something felt wrong." It's a really powerful addition to your sim rig. And if you want to learn more, head over to the buttkicker.com. We have plenty of information and resources there. Yeah, so that's all I've got. Thanks for having me, and I hope everyone enjoys the race.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. Ready to go back to Green Flag Racing this afternoon. 139 laps still remaining. We are under yellow flag number 4. The iRacing pace car pulling down to the pit road. My name is Ola Remble alongside Austin Edstrom. Welcome to the show if you're just tuning in, as we are ready to go back to green for the 5th time today for the 7th run of the Buttkicker Indianapolis 500. Oh boy, huge fan out of cars deep in the field. I think they checked up down towards the back end. You saw a lot of them kind of fan out, wondering what the heck was going on. And now Rafael Rodriguez under some pressure from Johnny Garrett. You saw the entire pack come down to pit road again under that latest yellow flag.
Yeah, every single car in the field came down. Even McGill, who's a lap down, he decided to come down pit road and get his 4 tires and fuel. Not taking the wave around this time. Just that green flag run had too many laps on it for McGill. Couldn't risk it. Gonna need another caution at about 15 or so. But further through the pack, side-by-side battles all throughout. Coming out of turn number 4, looking like a battle just outside of the top 10 between Caleb Weekly, Johnny Garrett, and Rafael Rodriguez, all going at it down to 1.
Rodriguez not able to pick up 2 for 2 as Weekly drives around him from the top shelf. Rodriguez forced to watch from the inside as the rest of the pack hightails it down the back straightaway. And now, further behind them, Mike Gerlicka trying to make the move on Johnny Garrett. Can't get the nose in.
Coming out of 3, these guys still fighting hard for every position they can. All of these restarts, it's the time to do it.
You got the new grip, you got the rubber. Make use of it, but these, goodness, man. Just about no room between the two. 22 coming down to the inside, trying to pick up another spot. Coming down into turn number 1. Strauss just not able to do anything. Is Mustonen. He's been in the top 5 just about all night after the pit stop. Slipped back ever so slightly, getting himself back into the fray for the race lead, just trying to recover. Now firmly back into the top 6, and I feel like I feel like we're starting to see the main challengers come through the field. I think we're just missing Molnar in the top 7, and I really think that that's probably the 7 best out here tonight.
Right now, Molnar kind of running back into the 8th place spot as well. Oh, up front, battle for the lead. As Adam Blocker makes the duck to the inside of Henry Bennett. He wants to go back to the point, and Blocker once again leads the Indy 500.
Yeah, Blocker not taking too much time out of the lead. I'm surprised to see him go right back out to the front of it right at the beginning of this run, though. I thought that he would take a little bit of time saving gas at the beginning, but no, he wants to lead at the front end of these runs, wants to be out in the clean air. Adam Blocker finds himself there once again through turns 3 and 4 here at Indianapolis. Blocker leading the most laps so far, trying to put a staple on that.
I think Adam Blocker right now has one of the best chances to win this race, if I'm being honest here. I think it's going to be either him or Bennett. I mean, these guys have been on point so far all day long. And I mean, these are 2 drivers that have won the Indy 500 in the past. Both of them trying to go for their 2nd Indy 500 wins in their Classic IndyCar Series careers.
I get what you're saying, and I definitely agree that they're probably the 2 favorites. But I really think that anybody in the top 6, and you can add Molnar into that as well back there in 8th, I really think that any of those guys have a shot at it. I really think that they are just a little bit quicker than the rest, and they are all within the same speed of each other. We've seen them kind of getting into their own little battle packs. And I really think that we're going to see the top 6 here be their own. Maybe Molnar can get by Strauss and get himself into it, but I think this top 6 is going to pull away from the rest of them.
You say top 6 plus Molnar. Why you put shame on Strauss's name here? He's been running a good race too in the top 10 all day long.
He has, but he qualified here and has just stayed in about this position 7th to 10th all night long. Molnar qualified 30th and has gotten himself up to 8th and was running lap times that rivaled the leader. So that's why I'm kind of putting Molnar a step above, because he's worked through the pack. He's gotten to the back bumper of Strauss whenever Strauss started up here.
He hasn't been able to get around him, though. I think Strauss is still a good contender for at least a top 5 finish.
Yeah. I agree with you. But I think just pure speed, top 6, and Molnar are just have separated themselves in the early going so far.
Around through 1 and 2, side by side. Caleb Weekly forced to yield, and further behind them, Randy Shoemake and Ariel Guerrero Jr. going at it as they look down into turn numbers 1 and 2. Up to the high side goes Art McEwen, that time through. And behind them, VJO on the march.
Yeah, VJO coming through. He was involved in an accident a little bit earlier, taking, I believe it was Aiken, out of the race. But VJO staying in it, keeping himself in this thing, moving himself a little bit further towards the front of the field, running in 22nd right now. But perfectly keeping the car in one piece. And again, you just got to get this thing to the end of it to have to give yourself a chance. And I feel like VJO's running a little bit further back than we typically see, right? He typically on the ovals, I feel like he's a top 5, top 8 type of driver, but so far tonight it just has not been the case.
See him now looking for a bit of 3 wide with Guerrero and Randy Shoemake down the back straightaway. Always a brave move, but not one that is going to phase VJO as he takes to the inside of that number 11 car. You kind of mentioned how he's been in the top 5. I mean, you're not wrong, right? I mean, finished in 5th at Phoenix Raceway, finished in 4th at New Hampshire, 3rd at Gateway. Now, granted, Gateway, I'm putting a bit of an asterisk on Gateway because there was only 5 cars that finished that race, period. So it would have been a bit hard for him not to finish in the top 3 because the other 2 cars were laps down. But, you know, still 2 top 5 finishes in New Hampshire and Phoenix. I am a bit surprised to see him so far down the field at a track like this. I think the one thing that would make sense, I guess, is the fact that this is a much more of a higher speed track. Those other tracks, they're running the high downforce road course era package, not the stripped down oval package that we see here.
I think that's a very, very good point to bring up. Running a different package and like you said, just the difference in speed, right? It takes a big difference in skill set to be able to be fast at these fast and short stuff. I mean, I think of the short track racing, the late models in NASCAR, it's way different than driving the next gen.
Well, and look at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, one of the only other big speedway tracks we've had all season. He failed to finish that race.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. There's some commonality to it. We need a couple more high speed ovals on the circuit.
Well, my friend, 2025 has you covered.
Oh boy, I'm thrilled. I did not even know. What are we adding? What are we adding? Are we able to?
You know what? Why don't we go through the 2025 calendar? We'll go through it in its entirety. Why not? We kick things off down under. Phillip Island making a return for a season opener. Last time we were there for the opener, I think it was 2019. No, 2021, I want to say. By the way, there you see Rafael Rodriguez trying to make a move on Robert Grosser himself. And now Caleb Eakin going to try to open up the door as well as he'll shoot to the inside. But we got a 2-week break after the Phillip Island. We return at the Mobility Resort Motegi Oval for a 201 lap race. Then we swing to Interlagos, and I mean, Interlagos is always a good track. You're hard to go wrong there with open wheel racing. Obviously, the Indy Road Course going to return for round number 4. Then the Milwaukee Mile for round 5. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park right now is a placeholder track, and that's where we'll be running if we don't get the Portland scanned out by then. Then we have the Richmond Raceway. Then all the big tracks, they come after the summer break, and we kick it off with twin mile-and-a-half cookie cutters. The Legacy Kentucky Speedway, followed by Chicagoland. Austin, you and I both know Chicagoland. It's a track that we both love for good reason. Then, of course, Mid-Ohio, Long Beach. The last big oval before the Indy 500 will be the Auto Club Speedway for a 400-mile race, followed by Sebring, and then, of course, the month of November once again with Pole Day, Bump Day, and the Indy 500 to cap off the year. So it is a great schedule next year, and we're going to be here for all of it.
They picked the bumpiest high-speed tracks they could find, and I'm definitely here for it. You said Legacy, Kentucky? What the hell? That's hilarious. I'm here for it. That's perfect. That's how you're going to get the best racing. I just can't believe that they went for Legacy, Kentucky. That's a big one.
Yeah, it'll be a good run, right? And I mean, I honestly prefer Legacy, Kentucky, because I mean, that's when they first went there, right?
Yes, dude, Legacy Kentucky's way better than the newer one. Oh my goodness! Before the repave, it actually felt like a racetrack instead of a highway.
Look at how many cars have run down the top 5. Musinet's in the fray. Strauss is in the fray. Molnar's in the fray. Lucas Laville, less than a second back. He's closing in as well.
Man, maybe I shouldn't have left out poor old Strauss. Was I too harsh on Strauss? He's gotten himself up here with the rest of these guys. Maybe I counted them out because they're starting to race up here in the top 8.
Oh yeah.
Moosten getting by Agan for the top 5. Down on the inside, down the front straightaway, Strauss, Molnar still catching up to the back of this pack. Now, whenever it's just 4 of them, they're all content with fuel saving. Now that it's 8, are we gonna see some racing up at the front?
My friend.
It's going to be 9. Oh, my goodness. LaVille's here, too. Holy cow.
Oh, here we
go. LaVille, he started
3 wide, down the back chute for a moment. Johnny Garrett tried for it, couldn't do anything with it. Rodriguez, the inside of Grosser, Gerlicka, and Garrett also in the fray, just a little ways back.
I still can't get over the fact that you said Legacy, Kentucky, Chicagoland, and Auto Club. I'm losing my mind for next season. Either way, we've got a good side-by-side battle down the front straightaway. Rodriguez still trying to take it. I feel like these guys have been at it for the last 30 laps. Rodriguez and Grosser have not been able to get this sorted out, and Weekly has been all over them as well. I mean, it is just, these guys have been going at it. Weekly's finally kind of separated themselves, but back up towards the front. Moosten continues to make moves, trying to get himself further up the pack, up to 4th, really taking away the air there as he gets by Dance, not giving Dance any room on the top side of the racetrack.
Yeah, this fight for the top spots, they are picking up, and they are picking up big time right now as Moosten and Dance, Agan, Strauss, and Molnar all under a blanket. The number 20 Iconic Motorsports car hunting to the inside of, trying to hunt for the inside of your defending champion now, Cameron Dance. No dice, though. Now, here's the big question. Is this pace being picked up from behind, or is this pace of the front runners dropping off?
Well, I think it dropped off at first, but now we're starting to see Blocker and Simmons string themselves out from the guys behind. A little bit of that is because they're fighting from behind, but I think Blocker and Simmons are thinking, man, we got to pick up the pace a little bit. We've got more company here. It's not just riding around saving fuel anymore. We've got an 8-9 car pack for the race lead right now. We got to start going and getting away a little bit.
That's having a good run so far. Logan Simmons, Henry Bennett, both under fire. Thomas Bustinen just behind. Still having a pretty good run of his own right. And all the while, Blocker and Simmons leading the way, head of this field. Jan Hoffman further behind. We haven't talked too much about these guys yet. They are right behind Austin McGill, who is still that one lap down. And right now, they are using him to save a little bit of fuel deeper in the pack.
I'm just wondering, when is that caution going to fly for McGill? Is he ever going to get that yellow flag at the right time for him to be able to take the wave around and hope that another one comes out relatively soon, because he's going to have to get double lucky. It's not just a one-time thing. But he's done a decent job kind of moving himself through the pack whenever, you know, they do restart, right? He had to take the wave, and he's gotten himself up to what would be 16th place. So he's got halfway decent pace. And Shawnee Garrett did just slap the fence in front of him, so that caution could come out sometime soon. I think Garrett might be struggling way down on the bottom now.
See quite a few of these drivers going for position swaps up here. Mooston, in fact, has made the pass on Henry Bennett for the number 3 spot up the road. And, in fact, he got around Cameron Dance as well from behind. So Moostinen is really on a huge charge up to the field. Cameron Dance and Ethan Agan are now both in the mix. And right now, Ethan Agan, Strauss, and Molnar going to be working with these guys as well down the back chute.
And it's kind of getting to the point where it's even harder to pass on the inside of the racetrack. I'm seeing some people further back try to make moves to the inside, but the outside group is just able to carry the momentum coming out of some of these corners. It's just really hard to have the grip at this point in the run. 21 laps into it, 22 across the stripe. Rubber's starting to go away and starting to struggle ever so slightly, especially with the dirty air. We're starting to see the front two start to pull away. Adam Blocker, Logan Simmons with the clean air, less air on the nose, less air hitting the tires. Forcing yourself to, you know, kind of turn the wheel more through the corner, it hurts your tires a little bit more, wears them out. The guys up front with the least amount of dirty air, well, they're starting to pull away at the end of the run.
Ethan Hagan now to the inside of Cameron Dance, and he's not the only one under fire as Matt Molnar again trying for the inside of Matthias Strauss. Just not able to get that look going. A lot of position swaps all of a sudden within the top 8, top 9 or so. As these tires start to drop away. We are not too far away for the next pit stop window. I'm thinking we're less than 15 laps out.
Yeah, we've got 23 laps on this stint of gas. I got to think these things make it probably 32, 33 on green. If I had to bet, I think we were 34 laps into a run for the top 6 earlier, but we had 3 or 4 cautions mixed in there. So I do think that we're nearing that pit stop window in about 10 laps, I'd say 10 to 12. We're going to be seeing a few of our leaders, especially the guys that have been up front. You know, I said the advantage was they don't burn as much tire being in the clean air. Well, they burn more fuel being in the clean air. So they'll have to pit maybe a lap, maybe 2 laps faster than the guys that have been running 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th this entire run.
Robert Groscher and Caleb Weekly. 2 drivers that are under a bit of a blanket right now. And Groscher still utilizing some of the slips from his teammate Marshall Stanley up the road. Again, Matt Molnar trying for the inside. This time, though, I think he should be able to get Strauss here coming down to the turn 3, and he is going to do just that. So Molnar will finally make up that spot. He is into the top 7. Next target, Cameron Dance, and he is closing fast.
Yeah, Molnar's been quick this entire race, man. Started 30th, now up to 7th. I mean, it's just been a ridiculous charge from Matt Molnar the entire day. And like you said, he's a little bit quicker than the guys in front. I mean, he is charging them down even after he just made the move all over the back gearbox of Dance coming out of 2. Look to the inside. Now Dance looking to the inside of the guy in front. Bennett under fire for the top 5.
Matt Molnar, you mentioned him, and you've been touting him as a potential contender. Oh, Gerlicka around and hard into the wall, having ripped the right rear of that car. I think that was up in turn 4.
Gerlicka was running in 14th. What in the world happened to Gerlicka coming? Well, I mean, that car was destroyed coming through 1 here.
This was in 2, yeah. Oh, is he just,
Oh, too high.
Cardinal sin, pushed too wide, hard hit right into the inside wall, and that fired him all the way across the track. back up to the outside. Well, he's lucky there was a nice big gap there for him to slide across the track.
That's a lot of these guys' longest run on tires, right? That was the longest run, so that was the point in the run where you're going to get the most tight. If you get on the gas just a little bit too early, you're not used to having that little of grip, I suppose, and Gerlich just bit off a little bit more than he could chew. Like I said, longest run on tires, just not feeling as much grip as they had on them before, just not as much ability to get out of the corner. You can see how much wheel he's got in it. Not like he's not turning the wheel, probably more wheel than he's put it in the car through one the entire night. Still just was not enough.
So we have another retirement. Only 25 cars remain now in the race. 24 are on the lead lap. 5th caution of the day before halfway. Kind of going back to Matt Molnar here, we were talking about Molnar, right? He has only run 2 Indy 500s. He ran the one in 2019, and then he qualified to run in 2023 last year as well. In both of those, he only finished in 20th. So right now, he is looking set for a career best finish in this race.
That's insane. And it's not just insane that he's looking at a career best finish. He's looking at it from 30th on the grid. It's not like he qualified well and then he just found pace over the course of the last year to be able to hot lap really quick and have good track position. He qualified 30th and has come through the pack to be in the top 10 and challenge for the top 5. I mean, I'm telling you, don't sleep on Matt Molnar. He was still looking quick at the end of that run.
Watch the race coming off of pit road here. Some cars already making their way out. Blocker wins the race off pit road. Then it'll be Mustinen, Simmons, Egan, Bennett, Dance, Strauss, LaVille. Race between Molnar and Stanley, but Molnar got it, and Stanley will close out the top 10. Well, Austin, we got yellow flag number 5 on the afternoon. We're going to take a step back. When we return, it's the restart on Green Flag TV. Back to Green Flag TV, entering turns 3 and 4. Closing in on lap 90 of the Indianapolis 500 in its 7th year of competition. Blocker still lead from Mustinen, from Simmons, from Egan, from Bennett. So you're set to come to the close of yellow flag number 5. So far, the biggest crash you've had was the one less than 10 laps into this race where we had 2 separate incidents with cars getting airborne but not over. All these considered, the crashes have been tame for Indy 500 standards on iRacing.
Yeah, sometimes you get into these big races with a big field, and you get a little worried that we might get some big crashes, but so far everybody's kept it very, very clean, and it's been competitive as hell.
And that's not, ooh, careful, checking up a little bit in the background. Now we go. Long hold there from Adam Blocker. They tried to juke the field out a little bit there as he immediately went to break the draft as it got down to turn 1.
Yeah, the latest that we've seen a race leader wait on the early going here so far. A little scary there from Blocker, but everybody got through with it. And he's full within his right to do that too. But he ended up getting a huge lead on it, 0.5 of a second down the back straightaway that he's got over Mustinen and Simmons. And it's really helped him out, but man, it's created a lot of battles further back, too wide. Bennett and Dance going at it down into turn number 3 for a top 5 spot.
Henry Bennett to the inside, won one Indy 500 his career. Cameron Dance trying to go for his first Indy 500 win. They are still side by side as they work down the front straightaway. Looking like Bennett will maintain that run for the lead. Side by side down towards turn 1. Christopher Hamilton coming down to pit road. Possibly a penalty for him.
We did see a big jump on that start, right? Or a big jumbled mess on that start. He very well could have passed somebody by mistake right before the line. So tough break on the restart. Gonna have to see just what happened. I mean,
it's a single file, right? So you cannot pass on the inside before the start finish line. Oh, you know what? You know how long that green flag took to come out? He didn't pass it before the line. It thinks he jumped it because he was going so much quicker than the front runners.
Are you serious?
I think so.
Oh my word.
I mean, I hate to say it, but that's on you for laying back so much.
That's tough. That's a tough break, though. I mean, it sucks. You're already at the back. It's not like he was trying to pass anybody. So it's just, that's a frustrating penalty to grab. What I'm surprised about, though, at the front, Bennett has just about broke the draft. He's 0.8 up over Logan Simmons.
And hey, he is working harder. Look at how much he's weaving across the racetrack, pulling the old Indycar stink. Gonna ride on board of the gearbox and watch again here as he comes around to the front straightaway. See how he immediately gets to the inside, and look at everybody behind really scrambling. They're trying to go with it to catch the draft, but now they're 3 wide down the front stretch, right down by the pit wall for Henry Bennett. They're gonna pull things out, and Logan Simmons just barely hanging on. There's Hamilton out of pit road.
But that's exactly what Adam Blocker wants to see. That cost him another 0.2. That takes him 1 second behind your race leader. They were 0.8 a lap ago. They're so far out of the slipstream, they're not even following him down to the bottom of the racetrack. Simmons doesn't even have anything in it. Blocker has completely broken the draft.
This was the lap before, I believe. As we'll see Christopher Hammerly there is leaving pit road, and then this. Look at that. Holy cow. Bennett, you madman. Talk about a close call as Henry Bennett nearly ended up losing control here. We're going to pick this up here a little bit. This is going to be coming around through 3 and 4, back to the front straightaway. And look at how close he got to taking himself and the 92 car, probably more out of this race.
Yeah, he was looking down to the inside, thought about it, just not enough room, thankfully.
I guarantee you, if this was the last 2 laps, he would have gone for it.
Well, he's still going for it right now. They've been racing hard for second, and finally Bennett ends up taking it away from Mustinen now. Still a long train of cars. That entire top 9 battle that we were talking about beforehand, it's still basically a thing, except Blocker has gotten away like crazy. I mean, 1.7 seconds that he's gotten over Bennett now.
They need to be working together here. They're going to have no chance on catching up to Blocker by the end. But right now, they're not willing to work together. Everybody just wants to go for positions. It's not even at the halfway point yet, guys.
I mean, look, Bennett's going defensive. I mean, they are not working together whatsoever. Blocker's just going to keep running away with this thing. Side by side again, coming down to the turn number 3. I'm shocked they've been working together so well this entire time. But for whatever reason, second on back has decided that they are just not. They're done with the games, I guess.
Again to the inside. This time, Mooson doesn't go with them. Trying to pull alongside by the time they get to turn 1. Not going to happen. Bennett sweeps back up across the nose. They have stopped the bleeding. They are no longer losing too much time to Blocker, maybe 100 or 2 a lap, but it's not several tenths a lap like it was before where they were actually going properly side by side. Well, I say that. I think Bennett just made too aggressive a move there. Now they are side by side for that number 2 spot. Up on the outside is Mustinen. Not able to get a run in, so Bennett Still maintains his good momentum working up there with that number 2 spot.
I feel like Mustinen would rather Bennett just stay in the train up top. I mean, nobody else is passing each other, so Bennett could probably go up there and Mustinen wouldn't try anything. Just stay in the train and keep the beneficial outside line going into the corner, right? You want to arc it down into the corner. Don't put yourself off coming down to the turn number 3 like you have been. I don't think that anybody is really trying to mount a challenge, but Bennett's racing like they're trying to take the spot from him.
104 laps to go. Behind in the North Chute, Stanley Wilson Rodriguez. Tight in the battle for the first spot outside of the top 10s. They're scrapping for 11th and still double file.
Wilson down on the inside, trying to take it, coming out of turn 2, tight between 2, not able to get it. Might put him under pressure, but Rodriguez way high from turn 2, up into the marbles, just able to keep it out of the wall. Cannot believe that he didn't find the fence. Grosser able to get the position because of it. Rodriguez just bleeding spots due to that issue. I mean, it looked like he was fighting forward, going to pick up 2 spots. Dead backwards a couple, and into a different battle pack he had nothing to, no business with.
And now Mustinen.
Oh, man.
And Logan Simmons trying to put Bennett 3 wide for the number 2 spot down to turn 1. Who backs out? Does anyone back out? Nobody's backing out. That's going to be brave. Mustinen forced the yield for the high side, hard into the wall. In turn 1, one car scrambles to the inside. They're able to hang on, still 3 wide through turn 2. And somehow we don't get a big wreck.
Oh my word, what are we doing for second, guys?
Adam Blocker is smiling bigger than anybody has ever smiled. I mean, he is jumping for joy right now as they're still battling for second. Logan Simmons finally taking it away from Bennett, but this group, they just can't get out of their own way.
Jeez, I mean, they are hurting themselves right now, quite literally. In the case of Thomas Mustinen, as he slapped the outside wall up in turn 1.
I'm shocked at how hard they're racing with 101
Oh,
laps
boy.
to go per second.
Another hard hit to the wall, this time for Simmons.
Oh my goodness.
He's going to fire from camera dance. Bennett started to break away. Here comes Mustinen back with a charge.
I mean, look at this pack. We're 15 laps after a restart. We've got 2nd to 20th on one straightaway right here. Coming down into the corner. Bennett still got it. Dance looking to the outside of Mustinen for 4th. Just no time to breathe for anybody. Further back, another move. LaVille still trying to go forward. He's trying to take 6 away from Strauss.
There is absolutely no chill right now as Lucas LaVille forced to yield to Matthias Strauss as they come around through turn number 1. There is a wreck that is boiling here. You can see it. Sooner or later, this is going to end in tears. This is only a matter of where it's going to come from.
I mean, there is no way we can keep this up for much longer, right? I mean, what in the world? The racing that we're seeing right now is just the most aggressive we've seen all night, and we still have 100 laps to go. We're not even close to the finish of this thing, and these guys are acting like we've got five laps left on the board.
Holy cow, that was one of the wildest runs I think you're going to see in quite some time. Watch here again as they go 3 wide on the front straightaway. And in fact, let's ride on board here with Ethan Egan. Watch it how close this car comes to going around. Mustinen goes up, hits the outside wall. Egan scrambles down onto the apron, drifts back up, loses 2 spots. I mean, that right there could have been the mother of all accidents in this race. By the way, we're over halfway home.
Just now over halfway, and we're racing like crazy already. Bennett leading the 2nd pack now. Finally, they've seem to have it sorted, I guess, maybe. But Simmons doesn't look like he's putting up too much of a fight. Mustinen in 4th now, even with that hit to the wall. He seems to have plenty of speed in that thing. Dance has cycled into 5th. Strauss, LaVille, Egan. I mean, even behind them, Weekly, Molnar, Stanley, Wilson, Grosser, Hoffman, all in the pack, man. I mean, everybody from 2nd to 15th is all in the same shot.
Henry Bennett under fire. Logan Simmons now picks up the number 2 spot. Iconic Motorsports, they want to try to get up here and lead this pack, but they are now 4 seconds behind Adam Blocker. They're going to need a caution to get back up into the running at this point. I mean, there is nothing to stop Blocker from just taking a walk-off win if this goes green the rest of the way.
I'd have to agree with you. They're basically, oh my goodness, it was almost the caution right there. Holy cow. I feel like they're going to need it, though. I mean, they have given up so much time to Adam up at the lead, right? I mean, 4 seconds, and they're still losing time. It's too big of a gap, way too big of a gap that they've given them.
I mean, it's going to happen sooner or later in this pack, but again, it's the question of where's it going to come from. And you know for a fact, not everyone's going to benefit from a caution. So if it comes out here, at least one of these cars, I'm willing to bet, is not going to be in the race for much longer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the caution comes out, it's going to be from this pack, and it's probably going to take out more than one. I mean, I just don't see it only taking out one. I mean, they are just packed up like a can of sardines right now, coming through 1 and 2. No space between them. I just don't see this lasting much longer.
And they're not going to be the only guys that are packed up like a can of sardines before race and action closes up, because tonight on Sunday, the ASRL Next Gen Cup Series swings to North Carolina, to the North Wilkesboro Speedway for a 250-lap slugfest for the second to last race of playoff season. Scott Rankin will review all of racing action from North Carolina tonight. Boy, oh boy. I mean, you get a high-speed dogfight like this, and they're going to have a bit of a low-speed boxing match coming on up later on this afternoon. So there's a lot to be excited about, including the last 95 laps of this race.
A little bit of everything on Green Flag TV today. Really getting your money's worth. I mean, goodness gracious.
It's free.
Good point. Your time's worth. Your time's worth. You really get your time's worth. Thanks for spending your time with us. But Molnar looking to take 8th again. He had fallen back a little bit on the start, but he was so good in the long run, right? At the very end of that run, he was starting to come alive. I'm thinking maybe he's playing this one the same. Maybe he was saving his stuff and starting to peak at the right time. Can he find his way through this field in the next 15 laps before the pit stop?
He's on board with the defending champion Cameron Dance, currently running in 5th. He's got a front row seat to 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. Still embroiled in their own battles up the road. Just barely getting up into the 6th gear before downshifting back to 5th as they hit turn 3. Oh boy! Again, the margins are so fine. You got to be a brave man to get this close to the back of a Dallara IR05, but that's what you got to do if you want to avoid getting sucked into the dirty air.
You honestly got to be a little bit crazy to drive one of these things in real life, I got to say. I mean, you've got to be absolutely mental to try to go side by side with somebody through one of these corners.
Reminder as well, these cars, they don't even have power steering. So they're doing all of this just on arm strength. Oh,
insane people. I mean, they had to have been born with a piece of their brain missing. Like the fear part, just gone.
Oh, Matthias Strauss and Cameron Dance both missed the bottom. Here comes Egan cutting through the field. He's now up to 6th, trying to make his way up to the number 5 spot now. Working down the back straightaway.
Molnar. Oh, I thought he was going to go 3. Holy cow.
He probably thought about it.
Egan makes the move. Molnar now to the inside of Dance through turn 2. Oh, yellow's out. Yellow's out.
Yellow flag on the speedway. It is for Austin McGill again. We'll get to that in just a moment. For now, wanted to get a look back on a bit of the hecticness that came down through the front straightaway. Well, that was a little bit after this happened. It was the chaos that happened coming around down to turn number 1 and turn numbers 1 and 2 here. I mean, talk about a nervy moment. I mean, these guys nearly junked it coming off at turn number 2 there. Right there, Egan hit the wall.
This accident's a tough one, too, that brings out the yellow. McGill got tapped going into 1. You missed it just barely. Rodriguez gave him a tap. McGill skating on the outside of the racetrack, just trying to keep it out of the fence. Turns off of it. Johnny Garrett, nowhere to go.
Well, if McGill wasn't down and out before, he sure is now. So that is both GGA Esports cars done and dusted this afternoon.
Yeah. Tough break for Johnny Garrett, too. Like I said, McGill got bump and run into the corner. Rodriguez kind of drove it in there from a couple car lengths back, to be honest. Don't
right there.
know how he got there. And McGill is just trying to catch it and not hit the wall and not hit anything coming through. Is Johnny Garrett okay? The way that the damage, yeah, it actually looks like Garrett might have gotten a little bit of netcode luck on his side because his car looks totally fine on mine.
Well, he definitely hit him because it ripped the right rear off of the 32 car. This is with Garrett. Oh.
He got lucky. He
Yeah,
got
no
so
kidding.
lucky. Holy cow.
Wow. I think that was Hans Pitkin in there. Extremely lucky not to get collected in that mess. Sorry, no, that was Christopher Hamelink that had the near miss.
Oh my lord.
Pit stops, by the way, underway. They're just leaving the pits now. Adam Blocker, Simmons, Musadin, Egan, Strauss, and more all leaving pit road. And but with all of that, 90 laps to go. Andrew Wood has, well, he was one of the first drivers down and out of this race. Austin, do you want to give a chit chat here to our 33rd place finisher?
Yeah, we can do that. Andrew, you're up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, bud?
I got a copy.
Andrew, not the night that you wanted for sure. Going back, thinking about your incident, just coming down into turn number 3, side by side down to the corner. I felt like you left enough room down to the bottom, but VJO might have just missed his marks. Kind of walk us through the incident. What'd you think?
Yeah, actually, with the Warnicow car.
Sorry, I was thinking of Andrew Aiken. My mistake.
Yeah, no worries. Unfortunately, I entered the corner pretty normally, and I saw him up on the outside, but going back to look at the incident, he was slowing down, I believe, the caution had come out in the prior corner, and I don't know if he quite knew where he was in the corner, and I just kind of washed up the track and didn't really expect him to be there. So it was an unfortunate secondary incident from a caution that I had already cleared. So yeah, a little bit of a bad day there, but yeah, I hadn't raced a lot this season, especially the second half. So coming back, it was just going to be a survival kind of race. We didn't really do a lot of prep for it, but Jamie's holding his own right now, and I'm still watching and spotting for him. So hopefully it's a good day. A top 10 finish for Chimera would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, it was really just kind of bad luck coming out of turn 2, the yellow flag being waved. It did seem like Rob just kind of slowed down in the racing line very abruptly. So it was just weird kind of catching you out. You know, you're throttling up coming out of that corner. Just kind of definitely a bad spot to slow down. So tough break for you, that taking you out. Where did you feel, realistically, the way the race was going? I know it was early on, but where did you feel realistically you could have finished here at the end of this the way that it's going?
I feel like where Jamie is right now is probably where I would be. He's hanging out just outside the top 10. Our setup is a little bit pretty good firing off, and it's pretty good for the first, I'd say, 10 laps of the stint. And then it starts to get a little bit slippery through turn 1 and 2, especially turn 1. But watching Jamie drive around all these cars, it definitely looks like everybody's having a similar problem. So I think that side of the track, the south side of the track, is where it's the most tight. And then if you kind of mess up there, then you're already kind of off center for turn 2. So it's a bit tricky to figure it all out. But the track is going to keep cooling down, which is really going to help that setup bug, or that setup little idiosyncrasy there. So I feel like as the track cools down, it'll be better. But I would have liked to finish a top 10 if I had survived. These Indy 500s are all about survival anyway. So it's been an interesting race thus far. I'd like to see a green flag stop before the end of it, just to kind of shake things up a little bit. But there's a lot of excitement up at the front, just watching the battle as it is.
Well, Andrew, sorry that it's gone sour for you, but we appreciate you coming up and taking some time out to talk with us. And for your sake, hopefully Jamie brings home a good finish.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks a lot, guys.
Alrighty, that was Andrew Wood, going to be bringing home a 32nd place finish here tonight as we're getting ready to restart.
Adam Blocker leading the way back to the green flag. We are hopping to it. And once again, the 7th Buttkicker Indianapolis 500 is underway, and already Marshall Stanley looking to the inside of Jamie Wilson, fighting his way to a top 10.
Yep, Stanley getting himself into position to challenge here. Back from 26 up into the top 10. Looking to the inside weekly for 9th, and we see the Snake coming down the back straightaway here at Indianapolis on the restart. The only guy in the entire field that didn't want to see that caution was your race leader of Adam Blocker. That 4-second race lead completely gone and evaporated. Now Simmons only 0.4 of a second back.
Yeah, right now all of the big fights going on are for about 9th, 10th on down. Rafael Rodriguez under some heavy fire here from Robert Grosser after he missed the mark up in turn 4. Towards the front, Caleb Weekly now being pressured by Wilson as Wilson again fighting his way, trying to fight his way into 9th, but Caleb Weekly is not letting them have it easy from the outside. Weekly making good use of those fresh Firestones before they drop away from him. Off of this restart. Up front, Adam Blocker already half a second clear. Logan Simmons trying to chase him down with the number 2 spot. This time he's got his teammate to help him.
Yeah, but the front, they're trying to run down Adam Blocker. So do Simmons and Mustinen work together better than we've seen the second pack work together on that last run. It's, well, 3 Iconic Motorsports guys sitting 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But the problem is one of them's getting overtaken. Cameron Dance down at the inside of Ethan Hagan right behind these guys is going to end up taking 4th place. So Dance, he was struggling at the end of that last run, moving backwards instead. Now at the beginning of this one, your champion is up to 4th.
Reminder as well, the Oval Championship still up for grabs as well this afternoon. So there's still some big news to be had as well in regards to that. But right now, the way it stands, I think a lot of these drivers are having to scramble for whatever spots they can muster. You can see there Cameron Dance now looking to the outside of Boosted. He's trying to challenge for a podium on those fresh tires before they drop away.
Trying to make use of them, but on the outside, not going to work out out of turn number 1. Dance just a little squirrely on exit. Now put under pressure. Hagan has the momentum on him coming out of turn number 2. Dance trying to go defensive. But it looks like Hagan has that draft from his teammates in front, but it's just not going to be enough to be able to get the overlap on Cameron Dance. They're going to cycle down into turn number 3. Dance now with the draft on 2 in front of them. Might be able to run them down and make the moves on them. But I'm shocked. These guys have all been in the draft, working with each other now. The top 2 are working with each other. Dance isn't making a move, but Blocker still pulling away up front.
Battle still raging on all the way throughout this field. Single file for the time being, but as we've seen, all it takes is 1 or 2 cars getting a little bit unsettled, and then all hell breaks loose. So far, things are looking pretty strong as it is, tracking just on the track where the Oval Championship is sitting at for the time being. Right now, Cameron Dance is in the lead of that Oval Championship. He has 238 points entering today and 192 points back. He's in Hagan. So as it stands, I do believe Dance would still be the championship for the Oval stuff as well. Right now, Musinen dominated the Road Course Championship. So, it's looking pretty solid as it stands for Dance to take a clean sweep here.
Be massively impressive for Cameron Dance if he ended up winning 3 out of the 4, championships, right? I count winning the Indy 500 basically a championship. If Dance walks out of this race, winning the Oval Championship, winning the main championship, yeah, obviously he could go one better, but who's going to win all 4? That's a tall order. Cameron Dance has done just about everything right this season. Losing a place right now to Ethan Hagan, though. Hagan moving himself up to 4th, getting himself with his teammates, but they're still losing time to your race leader.
Just behind them, Matthias Strauss now looking to get back around Cameron Dance as he finds his way to the inside. Able to draft up and get around that Orbit Motorsports number 6 and cuts off the nose before Dance can fight back at a turn 3. Then further behind here, you still got this fight between Wilson, Weekly, Stanley, Rodriguez, Grosser, and Hoffman. With less than a quarter of a second. Oh, trouble! Big crash! Front straightaway, 1 car up and over. That's Franz Josef Stoom tumbling down the front straightaway, pirouetting on his roof, barrel rolling over the attenuator into pit road. Huge crash on the front stretch for yellow number 7.
Oh no! That was the the biggest crash we've seen from one car so far tonight. Obviously, we've had a bigger one, more cars, but Franz Josef Stum, talk about a race ender. That is going to be his race, done and dusted down the front straightaway.
What happened here? I think this is the lap before. So this happens later.
Holy cow.
This is Guerra. Oh, did he lose it? I think he got it settled, and Guerra just neck-coated into the back of him, into the wall, up and over. And this is a wild ride as well, because he gets absolutely pummeled by Art McEwen. And that flips him over the attenuator and straight into pit road. Yeah, he got loose. He got on the curb.
Yeah, catches the curb, gets a little loose, slows up, and then, honestly, Guerra is trying to get to the inside because he sees him going slow, and Josef Stum is drifting up off the bottom of the racetrack, and then Franz makes another move to the inside after Guerra's already trying to get to his inside, and it was just unpredictable. Too late of a move to the inside there for Josef Stum. Just kind of needed to run the normal line out of the corner and let Guerra do whatever he needed to do, and unfortunately, this is the end result.
This will be on board with Guerra. You'll see here, I mean, just had nothing he could have done about it. And then from further behind, this is what what Art McEwen saw. And I think McEwen might have gotten away with this without any damage because of the netcode that went on with this. I mean, you take a look. I mean, he doesn't know where he's going to go. Cuts the inside. Holy cow, the 44 car there. Just barely avoiding all of that. That was Bobby Love. Right on board with Love here. Cuts inside. He has no idea there's a crash up here. Nearly gets into pit road.
Man.
Then right on board with
some record buttons right there.
Hang on, folks. This is going to be a wild ride. If you get motion sickness, might want to look away for this one.
Holy cow.
Never seen an Indycar upside down for that long at that high a speed.
We just went through a round of pit stops too, by the way. Only Cameron Dance out of any of the contenders pitted. A couple guys from 12th on back pitted as well, but only Dance out of the top 10 came down pit road.
It's about as wild of a single car wreck as you can have at one of these types of places like that. Jeez.
Hope he wasn't in VR. That's all I can say.
It's a wild tumble. So our first flip of the day. I don't think it's going to be the last either.
No, definitely not. I would think that we're going to see at least one more of those.
Are we going to go green this next time? Yes, we will.
So I would have to think so. The caution periods have been pretty short here for the IndyCar stuff. Not having a lucky dog really takes out some of the unnecessary caution time.
Yeah. That is just an incredible sight. That's what you would have seen if you were in the grandstands. Wild wreck.
The entire crowd gasps in unison.
Look at VTO as well. I'm just grabbing. Oh my goodness! I mean, that right there, I think does a great job of showing just how close the 44 car came from absolutely careening into the pit attenuator here. One more look, and then we'll get set to go back to green here. But And you see the wreck begin. Right there it is. And then look at the 44 car. Yeet! And just cuts right, cuts left, and just barely avoids that. That is such a nervy moment.
Can Blocker pull away again? He's done it twice now. Can Blocker just get away from this pack and make this a one-car race? I can't believe he's done it 2 restarts in a row after what we saw at the beginning, but man, he has kind of separated himself as the favorite.
We are well into the final half of this race. 77 laps to go in the Indy 500 when we take to the green. All things considered, still making great time so far this afternoon. As we're going to jump back and go to the green flag. Well, Blocker's out to 4/10, but that's not too uncommon. I think it's really going to depend on what he can do here. Getting to the back straightaway. Sure enough, going for the snake. I think Simmons kind of has him in check, though, this time. He's been reading what he's been doing in these last few restarts, and he's keeping him honest this time around.
Yeah, he's not letting him get away too early. He just can't let him break the draft. After what he's done the last 2 restarts, if you're Logan Simmons, Thomas Booston, and Ethan Hagen, you cannot let Adam Blocker break that draft. Do not let him get to 5, 6, 7/10 of a second. Don't let it get even close. You got to stay somewhat close to this guy. Keep the challenge up. Keep the pressure up. Now that you got 3 teammates lined up 2nd to 4th, maybe it's a little bit easier. Maybe it's a little bit more possible. But right now, Blocker's still doing a great job breaking the draft down the front, keeping that gap at 4/10 right now.
Could you say he's blocking them? Should I just see myself out of the booth now, or
I don't have a good response to that.
It's like, should I see myself
He's
out
not blocking
now,
you.
or should I wait myself to be exiled?
They're not close enough to block yet, right? So not yet. He might have to do some blocking before the end of the end of the night. If he can't break this draft, the problem is for Simmons, he's starting to stretch the gap out a little bit more. Through the front stretch and through 1 and 2, that gap goes from 4 to 5/10.
And now, for behind them, you've got other drivers like Cameron Dance and Rafael Rodriguez in a battle. Dance now to the inside of the PDS Racing number 80 car out of Brazil. And Dance sweeps through, picks off the driver of the number 80 car. So the Auckland native is really putting in the work right now, chasing down drivers like Caleb Wigley, trying to claw those spots back up in the grid.
Yeah, a couple fights still through the pack, a couple guys trying to make their way through. Lucas LaVille, who has worked himself through the pack, started back in 26. He started back in 19th, but doing a great job getting himself up to 4th from mid-pack. And LaVille has just been on one constant charge forward. Haven't seen him bleeding positions many times tonight. Only really seen him move through the pack, and well, he separated those iconic motorsports guys. He's gotten himself in between Hagen and Mustonen.
Simmons still doing a darn good job on maintaining his run. Right now you see Mustonen making a little peek to the inside. That's not for position, though. What he's doing there is he is preventing Lucas LaVille from making a move to try to attack his teammate. He's effectively saying, look, we either go single file or we're going 3 wide into turn 1. Your pick.
I think I would rather single file. 3 wide.
LaVille thought so too.
No, thank you. No, thank you. LaVille choosing the smart thing, backing out. But these guys all packed up. Now looking to the inside, LaVille is for 3rd place. They're starting to lose ground again. Simmons might just be able to break that draft.
Yeah, right now, Lucas LaVille forcing the issue to get down the inside of Mustonen and try to gun it for the number 3 spot. Mustonen still hanging on around the outside. And behind them, Matthias Strauss and Ethan Hagen are still both in the mix. And, well, where LaVille falters, Strauss and Hagen immediately say, hey, don't mind if I do.
Yeah, Strauss looking at the inside down to the turn number 3. Laville still hanging on. We got 18 laps on these tires, about 14, 15 under green. So we're reaching that point where the outside groove is actually a little bit better whenever you're side by side. There it looked like it. Laville was able to hang on. Strauss not able to get the spot. It just seems the later you get in the tire run, the harder it is to make that move down on the bottom.
Simmons, Laville, Mustonen, Strauss, Egan, all still embroiled in the battle pack. Oh, geez, further back in the field. Yeah, and Hoffman having a big step out, coming around through turn 2. You get a bit of a loose battle pack here from about 8th on back to 13th. You got about 3/10 of a second or so to everybody. And this year, this is the big pack. Again, this is what Blocker wants to see.
Yeah, Blocker wants to see these guys get side by side like they're doing right now. Lucas Laville looking to the inside, trying to get himself up to second place in that number 2 machine. The side by side coming through turn 2. Laville way down on the inside, not able to get clear. Ooh, Simmons had a big issue coming out of the corner, though. Laville's going to get clear, and Simmons is still dropping.
Matthias Strauss now trying to fight his way onto a podium. Strauss is going to force the issue, and he is going to be onto the podium as well in the number 28 car. So 3 different drivers, 3 different teams, 3 different nationalities that are all on the podium right now as this field rips it down towards turn number 1 once again.
Ooh. I'm surprised. Logan Simmons that last time by, I don't know if he caught the fence out of 2, but he had a terrible exit out of the corner. Ended up giving the position over. And no, he didn't find the wall. He just didn't have the speed. Laville was able to take it. Simmons maybe trying to go into a little bit of fuel saving mode still. We could still be in that that mode where you want to save a little bit of gas, but somebody who's probably not. Looking a little bit further back, Cameron Dance. He's got 11 lap pressure tires, 11 laps more gas than these guys. And he's fought his way up to 8th place. He's only 3.2 off the race lead. I'll be watching out for Cameron Dance if the strategy plays out right.
Matt Molnar dropping 2 positions as he's had a big issue coming off of turn 4, losing all sorts of momentum, and has potentially Matt Molnar found the outside wall.
Oh, that's tough. Molnar's had such a good race. Last 30 or so laps just have not been great for him, though.
Low the RPM already was. I mean, he was shifted down to the 3rd.
Yeah, I think he had a moment out of 3.
Possibly. Let's jump a bit further. Well, this is... Now that's the whole lap ahead. And here we go. No, he just pulled the inside and lifted.
Yeah, I don't know.
So he is saving a bit of fuel.
That's saving a little bit too much. That's aggressive fuel saving right there. I don't know if you need to save all that much, but I was talking about someone who doesn't need to save. Cameron Dance. He's starting to catch that second pack. The battle for second is about to grow a little bit bigger with Cameron Dance coming in here on new tires.
Dance is one of the drivers this afternoon as well, where he's not looking to play it safe, right? I mean, he's got nothing to lose.
He can go for broke. All he's trying to do is win a 3rd championship on the season. Got the oval locked up, got the overall locked up. Throw an Indy 500 under the cap as well. That's all Cameron Dance is trying to do today. Putting himself off strategy from the leaders, and now he's got himself right back on their back bumper. The strategy's playing out perfect for him so far.
Still quite a distance left to go in this race. So many of these races, I mean, they come down to the wire. It's good to note, though, that, I mean, we've had quite a few cautions in this race so far, and the likelihood that we're going to get yellows in thick battle packs of this only increases the later we get. Reminder, there's no green-white checkers in these races, so if we got a caution within, like, 5 to go, there's a very good chance this race ends under the yellow flag.
That's a great point to make. You got to make sure that you're up in the lead. Cameron Dance was looking to the inside of Jamie Wilson, trying to take the 6th place position away, not able to get it through turn 1. Again, the inside just struggling a little bit more now, especially through turn 1 and 3. It just seems to be very, very difficult to get the throttle down if you're pinned down to the inside. So Dance is going to have to regroup here and go again on Jamie. He's a little bit quicker, but they're starting to lose this pack in front of him. If he can get to the right rear, I think he's got the spot.
He's in there. Oh, no! Doesn't fill the pocket. Tell you what, though, I mean, he is gunning for it, and He can make this move. He's just got to try to find the right opening.
Yeah, he tried to turn in a little bit later there than Jamie, get some clean air on the nose, but it just was not enough through turn 1. Jamie turned in really late, didn't let Dance get what he needed. And then out of 2, Dance pushed a little bit tight. Not going to get a huge run unless Egan helps him down the back straightaway, which he kind of is. Dance coming down to turn number 3. He's going to fade low, go for the move. Driving in deep down into turn number 3. Can he take it from Jamie Wilson sliding across the nose? Cameron Dance moves himself up to P6.
There's the battle for a second on back, just out of the shot on the right side of your screens. Now Dance having to go defensive as Jamie Wilson trying to get back at him. Oh, close! Down to 1. Dance trying to hang on, pushing out, nearly forcing Wilson into the wall. Wilson, a bit too wide, and oh my goodness, I thought for a moment Dance was going to take him out.
Holy cow, the fight for P6 is nuts, and you got to think Cameron Dance is frustrated as hell. He's got newer tires. He's been faster than these guys all night. Now they're holding him up, just fighting him whenever he feels like he could be in that battle pack in front of him for second, but instead he's just losing chunks of time to the race lead. Dance, again, to the outside, trying to find some clean air, but now it's Egan to his inside.
Boosted in. Sorry, no, that is Egan looking down for the inside. Egan's teammate VJO is still in the fray as well. Somebody just caught the outside wall. May have been Rodriguez. Ripping again right along the outside fence coming off in turn 2. Marshall Stanley, a driver that had to start down deep in the field now, is also up in the fray with this.
Oh, here it is, Dance finally. That's going to be the clearing move for Dance. Now side by side right behind him. Dance can set his sights forward, just try to run down this next group on the newer tires, but we're going to be seeing some pit stops here pretty soon. The end of the pit window is going to be coming in anywhere between 3 to 6 laps. So Dance needs to be making as much headway as he can right now. This is where it's the most important. Cut in that gap as much as possible, and then after they pit, just hope that the clean air is enough to get you up to the race leader.
Rodriguez, Stanley, Groscher, all under a blanket. Thought for a moment they might wreck again coming around through turn 1 the last time by with how tight it was getting in that double file dogfight. Head of the field, LaVille losing 2 seconds now to Adam Blocker. The Power Slide Motorsports Dirt Vision number 73 is on fire at the head of this field, showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon. Further behind, Henry Bennett, under 5 from behind Hoffman. VJO under 5 from Ariel Guerrero Jr. Jack Turner, Randy Shoemaker, and Bobby Love still in the fray as well. Jack Turner, all things considered, he might be back at 20th, right? But that's still 13 spots higher than he was earlier on.
All it is about finishing higher than where you started and a good chunk higher. Jack Turner up from 33rd up to 20th. That's a good night. I know there's a lot of attrition, but hey, Jack's done a lot better than a lot of those guys. He's kept his nose clean all night long, got himself up into the top 20. So great night for Jack so far. Oh no, tight out of turn 1. Holy cow. Rodriguez not leaving any room.
And now Ethan Hagan is caught back up to Dance, and Dance might be sucked right back into this battle here.
Oh. If you're Dance, you are so frustrated. These guys have 11 lap older stuff than you. You're just trying to lay down as good of lap times as possible, and now you're getting suckered into battles that you just don't want to be in. This is just so frustrating if you're Cameron Dance.
Shoemaker slowing on the back straightaway, big time. Possibly lifting out to try and let them through. You see Shoemaker, he just pulled it off to the inside and braked. Potentially strategically letting them through. Maybe he's trying to save a little bit of gas as well.
Race preservation. Just trying to get to the end of this thing. I don't blame them. And we are coming down to pit stops, so these guys are fighting for all they can, coming down to the last couple laps before the pit stops. Jamie Wilson just hanging on. He's got a guy on the outside, though. Rodriguez trying to take it. Grosjer and Stanley, the 2 teammates right behind. Couple guys down pit road.
That's
Actually,
Strauss.
just one so far. Strauss, yep.
Ty Strauss, the first car to blink for green flag pit stops. Jamie Wilson and Rafael Rodriguez in the fray as well. Rodriguez with a huge tank slapper nearly went around. Grosser and Stanley just able to cling on as well. We talked about Buttkicker a lot this race course. They're the big sponsors for the Triple Crown races. But Paper Cycling Systems, the guys that have been sponsoring a lot of the races in this 10th season of the Classic IndyCar Series, they, of course, have put up quite a few prizes as well. For pole day qualifying, they gave Alexander Russell $30 for the top spot. They gave Adam Blocker $20 for second, and Bennett got $10 for third. Bump day qualifying, VJO was the top spot on the bump day run, so he got an extra $15. Today, though, it's the big prizes. Third place gets $30. Second place gets $65. The winner of the Indy 500, winner of $100, courtesy of Paper Recycling Systems. And that is, of course, with other awards being given to the fastest lap award, being awarded 10, and the most laps led, which I think at this point will safely go to Adam Blocker, being awarded 20 at the end of the day as well.
I like all the bonuses that you can earn here. Makes every lap worth fighting for. You never know where you could pick up a little bit extra cash. A couple of these guys starting to come down pit road.
Oh, no!
Jamie Wilson!
Jamie Wilson locks the rears, and he's going to loop it in pit road, noses it into the wall. Not sure how much damage he gave. The nose cone stayed on the car. That's really good for him. But that is an embarrassing error to make. Coming down to pit road. Just locked up the rears, attacking pit road too aggressively. It's not a hard hit. I think that might just be, for the most part, a lost time, and he should get away with it.
Yeah, he'll be mostly okay, but it sucks because he was in that tight battle with a couple people just inside the top 10. He's going to now be, I don't know, a couple spots out of it. So still tough break just off the time loss, and I imagine that's still a little bit of damage to the nose that I don't know if he's going to be able to get fixed under green. So Jamie might be just a little bit off the pace.
Grosser panic locked it up as well, trying to just avoid him in case he fired right back across pit road. Marshall Stanley also coming down to pit road this time, and well, for Wilson, potentially more damage than we thought. It is a very long stop, and he's out of the car. That was a race ender for him.
What? No, that was a race ender?
He's out of the car.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe that was enough. It wasn't that big of a hit.
No, it doesn't have to be a big enough hit. It just has to be enough. More cars coming down to pit road. Lucas LaVille, Matt Molnar, both into the lane. Blocker just put down his best lap of the race so far, a 40.59. But so far, the fastest lap overall, I think, goes the way of Cameron Dance, a 40.44 on the afternoon so far.
Ooh, still 53 laps to go. Still a long ways in this thing. A couple guys still having to make this last pit stop. Blocker staying out one more time. We're now reaching lap 38 on this stint. This is much longer than I thought we could have gone, especially for guys like Blocker, who's been in the clean air this entire time.
Not really seen a lot of guys coming in yet. So we're going to keep things sorted where they're at. Like I said, lap 38 on this stint. Now, granted, how many cautions have we had in the midst of all of this, right? I mean, that could be a big factor as well. Last pit stop for a lot of these drivers was back on, well, says lap 112. That's technically 110 because remember, you have to cut out 2 laps from all of these numbers to account for the 2 quote-unquote pace laps that were technically run under green flag conditions while they were getting the 3 wide start sorted. Blocker, Simmons, Moosin, and Egan, Rodriguez, Weekly all into pit road as well. So here comes the exodus.
Yep, everybody deciding that this is time. Go ahead and make your second to last pit stop now. Not going to be able to make it on just one more stop, or just on this stop, I should say. But one more stop, and it could just be a splash and go to the end, right? We're going to see some strategy at the very end. I got to think. They made it 39 laps on this stint. It'll really be 37. You might see some splash and goes on that last pit stop. Could see some shake up in the running order.
Adam Blocker, first in, first out of pit road on this first run of full green flag stops. And there you see Lucas LaVille having pitted 2 laps earlier. Can he beat Blocker as Blocker tries to get up to speed? He might get him here down to turn 3. It's going to be close. I don't think LaVille's going to get there, though, and now he's on 2 lap older tires. He might get him here, though. Round the outside for the net race lead. Lucas LaVille to the top spot.
How in the world has Lucas LaVille just done this on the older tires coming out of pit road? had a huge gap to run him down, and
Major
somehow
undercut.
Lucas LaVille has gone to the race lead. What a job from the back of the pack. I mean, it started mid-pack, 20th, 19th, up to the lead.
Still have the top 8 that have yet to come down to pit road. Before we'll get pit stop, before we get this pit stop window officially behind us, Ariel Guerra Jr. coming down to the lane now. Boosted in, putting a lot of pressure on the Vortex Sim Racing driver of Robert Grosser as he tries to link up with his teammate Logan Simmons. So a huge gaggle of cars right now working their way through turn number 1. Oh boy, and again, Simmons almost up into the outside fence. Stanley takes that one away down the insides. The number 25 car is able to get a run going. 48 laps the distance. As a huge chunk of this field are still in good racing condition. Right now, we are still waiting on the top 7 to come down to pit road. That's Dance, Hoffman, Bennett, McEwen, Turner, Love, Shoemake that have all yet to stop. Cameron Dance is putting some cars to lap down. He's no doubt trying to get some clean air to try to see if he can finally try to run these guys down. Remember, these are guys that also pitted about 10 laps later than a lot of the other drivers that had come down to pit road prior. So they're staying out deliberately long to try to extend these stints out. And that will make for a shorter pit stop later in the running order as well.
Can Dance stretch this thing long enough?
No way. Absolutely not. But he can stretch, because right now, you can get fresh tires on about, 7 seconds or so, but then you're in the pits for about 3-4 seconds longer just on fuel. He's trying to cut those extra seconds out for the fuel stop.
I mean, he's gonna need literally just a splash and go. I mean, no tires, the tiniest amount of fuel that he's gonna. I'm telling you, he's gonna need 5 laps of gas. No, he's gonna need 5 laps of gas. That's it.
For this stop?
Not this one, but the next one. Everybody else is gonna have to take at least a good couple seconds of gas, maybe some tires. But Cameron Dance is only gonna have to be stopped on pit road for 2 seconds.
We're now into the longest green flag run of the Indianapolis 500. Currently working lap 155. We went green on lap 124. So it's been a long green flag run and a nice green flag run as well, right? Lots of great racing like we're seeing here between Mooston and Grosser. Yeah,
I'm happy to see us get some green flag pit stops in this thing, kind of get some field separation. See where the real pace is at through the field, and seeing some diverging strategies with Dance, Hoffman, Bennett, all trying something a little bit different here, staying out longer, coming down pit road on that last caution. But you got to think, everybody else made it about 39 laps, and there was an extra caution in their fuel window for them. Dance has just completed lap number 35 on his stint. Got to think that they're going to be coming down in the next 3 laps.
So here's my big question to you. If we get a caution now, assuming you could go about maybe 39 to 40 laps if you're really saving the fuel, if you go for full fuel and tires now, could you go the distance to make it to the end of this race if a caution comes out this lap?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, you got to think about, like Dance, if we wait another 3 laps and he comes down, I don't think he has to make another pit stop if a caution comes out. Like, I think that if a yellow flag flies, all these other guys probably, that came down 5-10 laps ago, they're going to have to pit under that yellow flag. And Dance would cycle to the lead. So I'm thinking if you pit right now and a yellow flag comes out, I do think you could probably make it.
And these two drivers, they're just cutting back and forth constantly on one another. I mean, they cannot get away from each other.
There's been a couple battle packs like that all night, though, to be fair. We've seen Moostonen shake it up with a couple people tonight. So far, it hasn't really been the likes of Grosser and Stanley, though. But right now, that's the fight that Moostonen finds himself in. They've done a great job getting themselves up through the running order, right? Grosser and Stanley were well behind a couple of these other guys, but they used the undercut to their advantage.
Yeah, and Hoffman really attacking pit road there. Art McEwen is in just behind him. And there you see Jack Turner, Bobby Love, both coming to pit road. Take a look at this. Look at how far sideways this car gets here on pit entry. That's not nothing with a Ford tire lockup coming down to the pits at over 200 miles an hour.
Cameron Dance about to come in this time as well. He's called it out over the radio. So Dance, your race leader, peeling off down to pit road. He made it 38 laps. That's almost lost it. Almost lost it. He got everything out of that pit entry, that's for sure, Cameron Dance. But again, 42 laps to go. He's going to need another 4 or 5 laps of gas. He'll have to come down for that splash and go unless a caution comes out. But it's going to be significantly less time on pit road than guys like Lucas LaVille and excuse me, the guy that's led the entire freaking race, Adam Blocker.
And Randy Shoemate, the last car to come down to pit road, so Blocker will now retake that race lead. Cameron Dance is going to be dropping back a huge distance. He's got some advantage in the fact that his pit stop will be significantly shorter than everybody else. Plus, he's on a lot fresher tires, but look at all those cars now that he's going to have to cut his way through.
Yeah, and Blocker's so far up the road, I don't even know if it's going to matter. I mean, he's all the way entering turn number 3 as Dance is coming off of turn number 2.
If LaVille fights him, he could slow him down.
Maybe, but LaVille's on a little bit older tires than Blocker, and Blocker's been the fastest all night. I don't think LaVille's going to have another chance at him. Well, he's looking to the inside, but I think Blocker's got a little bit more speed than LaVille overall. But, I mean, Lucas is trying to prove me wrong. He's looking back to the inside.
This was the pass that saw LaVille or Blocker retake the race leader. That was actually as we saw Dance coming down to pit road. So Blocker only just retook the lead of this race from Lucas LaVille. And who knows? Still a lot that could go wrong either way for either driver.
Hey, he's keeping it close. That's all that matters at this point. He's keeping himself in the fight, and honestly, this is a little bit better than I expected from LaVille at the midpoint of this race. He was just kind of hovering around 10th, but man, he has really kicked it on in the last 50 laps or so, moving himself up to second, using a little bit of strategy to get up there. So one more pit stop in it, so he's got a little bit more of opportunity, but even if he finishes second to Blocker here, hell of a night. Whoa, is that Strauss making a heavy move to the inside?
Yeah, Strauss really cutting to the inside. Head of this field, Grosser back to the inside. Moostonen picks off a spot. So this big 5-car pack has reformed. Austin, tell you what, why don't we take a rundown top to bottom through your Indy 500 field now that we are in the dying stages of this race. And we'll take you through everything and how they shake on up for the race so far. We're coming into the final 5th with less than 40 laps to go. Adam Blocker leads the way. Lucas LaVille back in the number 2 spot. They are 7.2 seconds clear of the biggest fight on the racetrack, with Grosser and Moostonen battling for 3rd. Marshall Stanley, Matthias Strauss, Cameron Dance just off the back end as well. He runs at 8th with Egan and Bennett closing out the top 10.
Currently, your 11th place runner is Jan Hoffman with Rafael Rodriguez behind him by a couple seconds in 12th. Caleb Weekly, a good 5 seconds behind that, back in 13th place, kind of running on his own little island. Ariel Guerra in 14th place, also kind of all on his lonesome with Art McEwen a little ways behind that. Jack Turner all the way up to 16th after starting in 33rd. He's half to starting position. Great job from Jack so far, keeping that nose clean. Bobby Love is going to be the guy right behind him in that number 44 and 17th, with Randy Shoemate in 18th, the last car on the lead lap. And then we've got Matt Molnar in 19th, 1 lap down, and VJO, Vesa Jela Olila, in 20th.
Christopher Hammerling right behind VJO. The last car running on the racetrack. From there, Jamie Wilson, Johnny Garrett, Frank Joseph Stum, Austin McGill, Mike Rolico, Hans Pinkin, and Michael Thorpe Jr., Andrew Aiken, Lewis Woodall, Rob Barnigan, Cesare Pensado, and Andrew Wood all down and out for this race. And of course, Gary Godsill, 34th technically on the timing charts. He was the honorary pace car driver this afternoon. Still a long way to go. 18 cars still on the lead lap. And a caution might not be too far away if this battle gets any more intense for 3rd on down.
Yeah, we could end up having hard battling for 3rd. Still can't believe LaVille was able to get himself out of this pack, doing that little early early pit stop to get himself separated. And he's done a great job doing it, right? I mean, the race for third is completely blown up because of people doing the undercut. Grosser, Stanley, all of a sudden finding themselves in the third and fourth place positions after they've been running roughly 10th all day. Just pulling a little bit of strategy out of their hat, and man, it has really worked off for them right now, running way higher than they've been running all night long. We're standing right behind them in fifth. I mean, he's just trying to run them down on the newer tires, trying to get everything he can out of it. Maybe the max on his night is going to be third unless that yellow flag flies. But it's a pretty decent pack of cars. They're strung out right now, but the older tires are at the front, the newer tires are at the back. They all very well could accordion up by the time we see the next pit stop.
Looking for the inside, Jan Hoffman trying to get to the bottom side of Ethan Aiken's number 20 car for Iconic Motorsports, and that'll be an overtake coming down to the back straightaway. So Stanley pulling it on for the time being. Meanwhile, Grosser and Marshall Stanley, they are now working together. So two of the Vortex Sim Racing teammates, they're trying to run down the race leader, and I think they're actually doing it. Take a look at the last few laps by. That's Stanley to Blocker. If we change that to show Robert Grosser, they are running him down, not by much, but they are running him down.
I just don't think that it's just not enough, right? Even if they're able to do that the rest of the race, a tenth of a lap, it's just not going to be. It's not going to be enough. I mean, 34 laps to go. You'd have to be about 3.5 seconds back. I don't know, kind of averaging right now. We'll see this time. Blocker just went by, 40.6. What does Grosser run as they go across the stripe? That's how far back they are. We still haven't gotten the scoring updated. See, not even a tenth in it. So it's just not going to happen for them. I don't think it can. I mean, obviously we still have the pit stops, right? No telling how much gas each person has to take, but I don't know. I think it's really a battle between the front two. Blocker and LaVille have separated themselves.
What Grosser and Stanley need, they need LaVille to start racing Blocker. That would really slow him down. But of course, LaVille's not going to want to do that because he's also trying to save enough fuel to try to see if he can't maybe cut a little bit of a second or so of fuel out of what will be a fuel-only pit stop likely for LaVille in the closing stages. How about Logan Simmons coming down to pit road early on? He's taking his final stop early in this one. Oh boy, look out! Strauss up into the outside wall. What's happened in turn one?
Dance? Was that Dance getting by? No. Bennett getting by.
Yeah. Oh, now he's lost it entirely.
Holy cow, Strauss. This race
what the heck happened?
Matthias Strauss, what in the world has happened through turns 1 and 2? No yellow. He was so far off the racetrack. It just about uprooted this race.
Oh,
Strauss
no.
Down to 1.
Wow, Bennett got the elbows out. Strauss trying to pinch him in. Big contact. Harvey Gibb found the inside. He just lost control. Huge hit up into the outside wall in turn 4.
I mean, he blocked him all the way down to the pit wall. You're almost asking for it if you drive somebody down that far. It's tough if you're somebody like Bennett down there making the move and you just get driven all the way down the racetrack. You got to widen out the corner at some point coming
He's
into
in there.
Yeah, and he's honestly pinching him a little bit too hard. I feel like Strauss just asking a little bit too much out of there. I mean, Bennett's down there. He's side by side with him.
He just lost control. Never let the car settle. That is a vicious hit up into the outside wall in turn 2. Take one more look back. This will be at speed with that impact. Whoever that Vortex car was in front was very lucky not to get involved in this, but I mean, jeez. You don't have to see the back end of a car lift off the ground of that, and then he fired almost back down to the road course in the infield. We got 30 laps, less than 30 laps to go. Bobby Love and Jack Turner both still on the lead lap. They're working together in 14th and 15th, way down to the tail end of the field. The last two cars on the racetrack, just trying to stay there. They're hoping for another caution. They almost got lucky with one. we lost? We might have lost Austin Edstrom. And I believe we have. So we'll hopefully get him back in a moment. But for now, Jan Hoffman fighting it out with Mustonen. Cameron Dance is in the mix. And there you see Robert Grosser, Marshall Stanley still working together. Still trying to close in, but I think as he alluded to earlier, just not closing fast enough. Fastest lap of the race last time by, set by Jan Hoffman. Lucas LaVille coming down to pit road for his last stop of the afternoon. So he's going to take one down into pit road. Jan Hoffman, again, 40.18, the fast lap out of anybody so far. Lucas LaVille missed his pit box. He had to reverse back into it. That might be an end to that battle for the lead. Robert Grosser to pit road. Thomas Mustonen into pit road for their final stops of the afternoon. Now working his way out of pit road. Lucas LaVille going to end up right in front. Might be behind his teammate Robert Grosser here. Nope, Grosser will let LaVille get out in front. Here comes the other Vortex car down to the pit road. Marshall Stanley down to it for his final stop. We may have gotten Austin Edstrom back. Austin, are you with us?
Oh, I am.
There we go.
Discord decided that it wanted to crash.
Oh, I love when that happens.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, the good news is you have only missed the Vortex Sim Racing Pit Crusade.
Okay, so not too much, not too much.
Unfortunately, Lucas LaVille did overshoot his box, though, so that's going to spell an end to that battle.
Oh, no!
Caution comes out! Oh, boy! Well, this race has just been blown wide open.
Oh, no. LaVille trapped a lap down, Grosser a lap down, Mustonen a lap down, Simmons a lap down, Molnar a lap down. That's huge.
Critically, they can stay out, though, to get those laps back. It is not over.
But they're going to be behind everybody that's about to come down pit road. If they lose the track position, that's huge.
This happened with Logan Simmons. Holy cow! Hardware failure. Completely missed turn 3. That is all the hallmarks of a wheel failure. That wheel never turned, likely a stuck throttle. That's a huge crash up into turn 3.
Oh my goodness. Simmons having a good top 5 day. Could have gotten a top 3 out of this one. And yeah.
Wow.
Something stopped working.
You don't say.
Okay. Well, that might have been pretty obvious.
That was a bit mean, I'm sorry. Holy cow, you don't have to see a car just go straight on like that. You know, the last time I think we've really seen that, I think it was way back for the Daytona 24 for the VSA Sports Car Championship, wasn't it? One of the Fisher Motorsport cars had a stuck throttle. Take a look. That is so odd. Had to have been a wheel failure.
Well, that, like you said, though, this shakes up the ending of this race. Changes up the, you know, who's going to be up front. Really helps out Cameron Dance.
Marshall Stanley had already pitted, and he managed to stay on the lead lap, so he's just taking up the lead in this race.
Holy cow, Marshall Stanley. Was he on pit road whenever the caution came out? Holy.
No, he had, like, just come out.
Wow. Wow. Talk about luck.
All of a sudden, Blocker is going to have to go on the offensive. We haven't seen that all night long. This race is about to get wild. There's no strategy. You just push it until you got to run come hell or high water at this point.
Yeah, it's all about going all out now. I mean, you can't hold anything back at this point. This is go time. We're going to have 22 laps to go about on this restart. You got to get everything you can right whenever you can. And, well, I can't wait to see him try to come through this field.
We have just over a tenth of this race left to go. We're going to take ourselves with a step back. Buckle up. It's going to get wild when we return on Green Flag TV. Welcome back to Green Flag TV. What a wild race it has been so far. Caution number 8, the end of the longest green flag run of the race. And now it is a 22-lap sprint to the finish. Strategy's out the window. Now we see what these drivers are really made of.
This is it. This is go time. This is whenever everything you worked for all season all comes down to this moment. Doesn't matter how bad your year has gone to this point or how good it's gone. This is the Indy 500, and this is where it all matters the most. This is where champions are made. Marshall Stanley is looking to etch his name in the history books of the Classic IndyCar Series.
There is a reason why, despite failing to get more than 20 cars for most of the races, you still had 36 attempt to qualify for racing action this afternoon. Everybody knows the prestige that comes with winning the Indy 500. Marshall Stanley, for the first time, is on defense for the lead. Green flag's out, 22 to go. Not a good getaway, though. Blocker within striking distance in turn 1.
And I'm really interested about Cameron Dance in third. He looked out with the pit strategy. The yellow flag flew at the perfect time, gave him a ton of track position, and now he's all over the back gearbox for the first time tonight. And Adam Blocker almost wrecking further back. Oh, 3 wide down the back straightaway. Mustinen's trying to get through.
Thomas Mustin trying to get through. That was Bobby Love that went way up the racetrack in turn number 2 and almost into the outside wall. Robert Groscher still in the mix up front as well. Almost contact as the 29 car of Matt Molnar pinned on the inside.
Blocker for the lead. He's to the inside of Stanley. How deep can Stanley drive it in on the inside or on the outside? Can he do anything for it? No, Stanley's just going to have to give it up. Blocker's going to take the lead. No, Stanley somehow keeps the right rear going through turn 2. Can he hang it all the way around the outside? Stanley's keeping his foot in it. Somehow the 25 still out there for the lead.
Oh my goodness, this is getting wild for the race win of the Indianapolis 500. Stanley trying to hang on, side by side through turn number 3. Blocker takes up the top spot, coming to 20 to go.
Cameron Dance now side by side, coming through turn 4. Can he clear Stanley? He needs to make this move as quick as possible. No, he can't get it done through 4. He's going to be side by side for second, all the way down the front straightaway, and Adam Blocker is giving the draft to Stanley on the outside, trying to make it as difficult for Cameron Dance as possible as they file down into turn number 1. Dance tries to clear the nose of the 25, not able to do it as we go through 2.
All out drag race through turn 1, through turn 2. Dance, the defending champion. Blocker only making 1 start of the year, trying to see if he can't go for the top spot. And now you got Jan Hoffman in the mix. So Vortex Simmers and teammates now trying to double up, seeing if they can't make a charge for the top spot.
We haven't said anything about Stanley or Hoffman all night long, and all of a sudden they find themselves here in the top 4 with a chance at a podium, with a chance at the win of the Indy 500 at the end of the season. But right now it's Cameron Dance going all over the back bumper of the 73 of Adam Blocker. Blocker's been the quickest all night, but Dance, he's played the strategy perfect, and he's got himself into position at the end of this thing.
Oh boy, still a long way to go. Adam Blocker's getting desperate. You see how much he tries to break that draft on the back straightaway. Dance, though, is not letting him take it. Oh, he fakes him. Fake Dance back towards the outside. Cameron Dance tucks up to the tail end of the 73 car. Adam Blocker still maintaining his lead for the time being, but Dance is right there. That IndyCar snake ain't gonna work when he's that close behind you.
He's all over the gearbox now as we go down the front straightaway across the yard of bricks. Cameron Dance is there. Does he make the move? Kind of fading off the back bumper there, the 73 ever so slightly. Just giving him a little bit more room down into turn number 1. Now was not the moment. Dance still just sitting firmly behind him a little bit further back, side by side for 5th. Rodriguez all of a sudden way to the outside of the racetrack. That's not where you want to go. Bennett's going to take it. Rodriguez in the fence.
Rodriguez slaps the wall. He's going to lose a few positions. Lucas LaVille, the last time by, putting down the fastest lap of the race, 40.16. Right now, LaVille with that monetary reward for fastest lap, courtesy of Pavement Recycling Systems. Here comes Cameron Dance. He's close enough to make that look down the front stretch if he wanted to. He doesn't want to, though. He's trying to see if he can set him up for something late in the race because he knows you don't want to be on defense on that final lap.
Yeah, but you want to be out front in case the yellow flag comes out. You were saying it earlier. You got to be up front in case the yellow comes out with less than 5 to go. You don't want to be the guy that's in second place with a chance to win it and the yellow flag flies and the race is over.
Well, right now, if the caution does fly, we would still go back to green. I think that aggression is going to kick up a lot more once we hit the 10 laps to go mark. That's where you really have to start to worry about how much race time you're actually going to get in if a caution flag comes out.
Yeah, you're definitely right. Still a couple laps left until then. I think Rodriguez pitting from a little bit further back in the pack. We saw him have issues. No, it's Molnar in the 29. Having to come down pit road here a little bit late, but back up towards the front. Blocker still hanging on.
It's an all-out race now, down the back chute towards turn 3. Champion versus ringer. Who takes the W this afternoon? Cameron Dennis, as it stands, would still be the oval champion, and he would go for the clean sweep for the road course championship, for the overall championship, for the oval championship. Caleb Weekly now down to pit road, and Caleb Weekly is in the wall.
Man, I'm not surprised for being aggressive getting down to pit road, but man, at this point, not too many people are having to come down pit road. I don't know if they're really fighting too many people at this point, if they're having to come down pit road. Just really aggressive again on pit entry. That's got to be a speeding penalty.
Maybe he was trying to scrub off the speed to avoid a speeding penalty. "14 laps to go. It is all eyes on the top 4. See what's going to happen in the battle for the lead of the biggest race of the year. Trouble! Trouble, the 29 of Molnar spins into the grass, exiting pit road. No caution yet, looking like he's going to be able to recover it. So he's going to get back out onto the racetrack, and will be smooth sailing from there. Further behind, Mustonen fighting it out with Rafael Rodriguez, and it takes one away. Mustonen fights his way to the number 8 spot.
Doesn't matter where you're looking at the pack or through the pack right now. Somebody's trying something somewhere. Bennett and LaVille, they're in a side-by-side battle for the top 5. Bennett's just going to hold on to that position. But LaVille trying to come through. He took that wave around. He was in position to maybe win this race, but the yellow flag flew at the worst time for Lucas. And now he's just trying to fight for scraps, get himself back into the top 5 and hope for another yellow.
Crossover after crossover. Matt Molnar is back into pit road now. Looking like he might be calling it quits here this afternoon. Adam Blocker really trying to go for a big run here. He has only gotten 1 win in the Indy 500. He's only had 1 race for the Indy 500, and in that 1 race where he attempted it, he was able to come home with some pretty solid drives as well for him in the Classic IndyCar Series. And again, in that 1 race, he went 24th to 1st, and that happened 3 years ago in 2021. Now trying to win the race from pole position.
And he has been the dominant car all day long, right? I mean, if we had to pick a favorite, it would be Adam Blocker. But the problem is he has the champion on his gearbox. And right now, Cameron Dance has not let him get any type of separation. 1 little mistake from the 73, and this is Cameron Dance's race. Now, the problem is Dance has been running so close to the 73, I'm worried about him burning up his rubber in the dirty air. Is he going to have enough to be able to make a move on Blocker at the end of this run?
Is he far enough back for there to even be dirty air?
Well, it's all dirty where he's at. I mean, he's all right under the gearbox. You're getting no air. There is absolutely no air getting to the front end of that Indy car every single time through turns 2 and turns 4. I mean, he's just right on the back bumper. Sorry, turns 1 and 3 at the end of the straightaways. He's just right on the back gearbox. You're not getting any air to the nose. You're not getting any air to the tires. I'd just be worried that at the end of this run, Blocker might be able to stretch out that lead a little bit.
10 laps to go, this time by. We are running out of time in the Indianapolis 500. Behind Mustonen, Robert Groscher, Ario Guerra Jr., Bobby Love, Rafael Rodriguez all to the pack. Mustonen to the inside of the number 9. Oh, 1 car to the wall. I think that was Rodriguez at the back, or Bobby Love, sorry, that just went into the fence. Although Rodriguez did clip at that time, coming around through turns 1 and 2. Mustonen still hanging on. They're scrapping for 8th.
Yeah, Grosser on the outside trying to hang on to that position, but Mustonen's going to fire it down deep into turn number 3. They're going to get side by side. coming off of the corner and then down into turn number 4. Don't think there's going to be any between the two coming off the corner. Yep, still side by side between Mooston and Grosser. And up towards the front. Oh, the 73 got a little twitchy out of one. Almost opened up the door for Cameron Dance. Dance all over the gearbox once again. And I got to say, Stanley and Hoffman have done a hell of a job keeping themselves in the fight, too. I thought they might fall off because they haven't been here all night long. But, man, it's 9 laps to go, 8.5 to go, and they're still right there with the top 2. They just need them to get side by side, and it could be Hoffman or Stanley that comes home with this win.
Still a long way to go. 84% of the 19 people that voted in this race predicted we were going to get a 6th different winner in the Indy 500. I don't think that's going to be the case, not unless something big happens to Blocker coming down to the last few laps.
You don't think Dance can get him?
I'm not confident. He's been getting there. He hasn't been able to really do much, though. Look at Blocker trying to get the toe from Molnar.
Scary moment with the guys coming through a little bit further back. Could have seen a big incident there, but luckily all the top 4 able to get through, and we're coming to 7 laps to go. We're getting to that point where the caution flag, if it flies with about 4 to go, the race is over. So Dance has to get on his high horse and make this move.
7 laps. We are entering dangerous territory now. If another caution comes out, we could be at risk of seeing this race end under the yellow flag. Oh, look out now! Around goes Hoffman, hard into the inside wall. Sliding back towards traffic. He gasses up to keep it off the racetrack. We won't get a caution, but that's big trouble. And one of the Vortex cars dropped off of the podium.
Terrible break for Hoffman, but I gotta give him big time
Credit for having the awareness to stomp on the gas pedal after his race was already ruined to make sure that the yellow flag did not come out. Big credit to Ian Hoffman for not making this worse than what it was. Terrible break for him. I hate that it ended his race, but man, big credit to him for the awareness that he showed there, keeping that thing off the racetrack.
He very easily could have let that drift out to the racetrack to help out his teammate Lucas LaVille to try to get a fight for the win. It probably still would have gone green with about 2 laps to go. That is great sportsmanship there to keep that car off, to let this fight play out naturally. Now, the top 3, under a 10.5 separated. They're both drafting down the back straightaway.
Dance has got to make this move soon. We are getting down to that point. Does the yellow flag fly and ruin his chances? Dance coming through turn 4 this time, looking to get the overspeed coming out of the corner. He's got the draft firmly within the slipstream. Does he finally make the move down to 1 this time?
We are now within the threshold. A caution flag would see this race end under the yellow flag in Indianapolis, Indiana. Gasoline Alley is roaring to life right now as Adam Blocker doing everything he can to try to just cling on and take his 2nd Indy 500 win.
Blocker found a little bit of space in between turns 1 and 2. Dance following the snake down to the bottom of the racetrack, down the back straightaway, finding some clean air on the top through turns 3. Dance just trying to get any type of momentum he can get through turn 4 this time through. He's a little bit quicker than the 73. Can Dance finally do anything this time?
I remember the start of the season, Austin. You weren't too positive about these IndyCar racing, and boy, how you have come around, and I love to see it, man. I mean, this is what IndyCar racing is all about here. 225 miles an hour. Some of the best racers on the service duking it out for the most prestigious win in motorsports history.
Oh, and Dance got a decent run that time, but as he closes up to the gearbox, it's starting to stall out. He's going to get right up to the back of the 73 as we go into 3. Looked for the right rear. Instead, he's going to go for the undercut off the corner. Not enough momentum. And then down into turn number 4 again. Just a little bit later, turning down into the corner and across the yard of bricks. 3 laps to go. Cameron Dance still just sizing him up. He's still not going for the move. What are you doing, Dance?
He doesn't want to be the one on defense. He wants to be on offense for that final lap. He's taking such a big gamble, though, that they're not going to crash before then, especially when you got side-by-side fights back here in the field. Trouble Hamlin goes around deeper in the pack. He keeps it off the racetrack. We still won't get a caution flag. This battle for the lead still on. This is what happened to Hamlin. This is coming out of pit road.
Oh, man. Yeah, just getting the gas after he got on the throttle a little bit too hard. But this is why Dance has to make the move. You've got to make the move right now. We're coming to 2 laps to go. If the yellow flag flies, the race is over. Out of turn 4 this time, Dance has as good of a run as he's had all night long. Does he finally take it?
No, not this time around. 2 laps to go. 5 miles left in the Indianapolis 500. Trying to make something happen. Through 1. Back through 2. Adam Blocker. He knows this move is coming. It's just a matter of when and where.
Dance was wide out of 2, cost him some time. Now Blocker pulling the snake down the front. Dance not able to gain much down the back. Blocker's just weaving all over the racetrack. Dance just not able to close in. We're coming to the white flag this time. Does Dance have one more run in him?
Adam Blocker pushed a little bit wide out of the racetrack, coming down to it. 1 lap left to go in the Classic IndyCar Series' 2024 campaign.
He's got the right rear across the yard of brakes. They're side by side down. Whoa! Cameron Dance finds the pits.
No!
Cameron Dance, he got the wall entering the corner, and that's going to be it for Dance. Can Marshall Stanley use the draft down the back?
It's going to come to a Hail Mary down to the turn number 3. You know it's going to come to a Hail Mary. Marshall Stanley has never won the Indianapolis 500. He has had so many attempts. He has not been able to get it, though. Down to the turn number 3. Does he have something for him in 4? Dance trying to close in, looking for second place. Down through 3 and 4. Off to the final corner. Here comes the drag race. Stanley's alongside. Coming to the line. Who takes the win? 3 wide. Blocker takes it. Blocker takes the win for the second time in the Indy 500. What a battle down to the wire.
Stanley needed to stay in the draft for just a second longer. I feel like he pulled out of it just a little bit too early. It was 16 thousandths of a second. I feel like if he just stayed in the draft a little longer, he would have had him at the line. But it's Adam Blocker by just a nose cone.
I cannot believe that. That was awesome. That is a race right there. You will never get a race like that again. 3 wide photo finish coming down to the wire for the Indianapolis 500. What a deserving winner. Most laps led, dominant on the day, took pole position, reset the speed record in a record battle with Alexander Russell. And I think we have crowned a worthy winner of the 2024 Buttkicker Indianapolis 500.
Oh my goodness. Stanley almost got there at the end too. I cannot believe Stanley almost had something in him in the last lap. Dance, I thought he had it. He was side by side down into 1 and he just tagged the fence, going a little bit too wide, completely threw his chance. But like you said, Blocker was the deserving guy on the night. And it's just right that it went home with him.
That is unbelievable. Blocker's going to bring it to a slow crawl. I think he's in a bit of disbelief as well over what just happened. It doesn't get much closer than that. Stanley had such a good run. If he was just a little bit closer, who knows what might have happened. I mean, that is unreal.
He needed the start-finish line to be at the pylon. And he might have had it. I mean, it just crazy finish between the top 3 at the end. What? Oh, man.
Wow, that is unreal how close that is. Dance gave it everything as well. You can't fault Cameron Dance at all for giving that a good shot. Dance, what a heartbreaker for Cameron Dance. You know what? He still gets a podium. He still gets the Oval Championship. Let's not take away from that, right? Cameron Dance still takes the last championship that was up for grabs, the Oval Championship on the season. He still gets that. We cannot, take away from that at all. A third-place finish is still good, but he is going to be thinking, what if I didn't catch the wall entering turn 1?
You got to be thinking, like you said, he's thinking the big what if right now, and you got to feel for Cameron Dance. Now he still got the championship at the end of the year, right? He took 2 out of the 3 championships, so he's still feeling happy about that. But man, he had the chance coming down to the turn number 1 to do something crazy, and it just didn't come out for him.
I find it really funny that because right now Blocker's driving backwards on SDK, it says he's going minus 200 miles an hour. I feel the need to point that. That's awesome. Oh, I have 250 laps of race I need to call tonight. My voice is shredded after that.
Oh, you're going to be great.
Oh, I might need to pay you extra to fill in for me.
I have a championship race tonight, buddy.
Oh, shoot. Not happening then. Well, what a wild ride. Let's take a rundown of your official post-race results this afternoon. That was beyond insane. Could not have asked for a better way to close out the 2024 Classic IndyCar Series season. In a legendary race, one of the wildest Indy 500 wins in CIS history, The final race of the 10th anniversary season closes out with Adam Blocker taking it 16 thou over Marshall Stanley. Cameron Dance with one hell of a drive to try to come home in third. Henry Bennett will lock out fourth ahead of Lucas LaVille. Robert Grosjean was in sixth, Moosen in seventh. Even today's Rafael Rodriguez in ninth, and Ario Guerra Jr. rounds out the top 10.
11th was Art McEwen. 12th, Bobby Love. Randy Shoemaker 13th. Jack Turner, what a job, from 33rd on the grid to 14th. VJO in 15th. Christopher Hemelick in 16th. Matt Mulder 17th. Jan Hoffman in 18th. Caleb Weekly in 19th. And Logan Simmons rounds out the top 20.
We're now into drivers that did not finish the race. Matthias Strauss, Jamie Wilson, Johnny Guerra, Franz Josef Stum, Austin McGill, Mike Gerlicka, Hans Pikkinen, Michael Thorpe Jr., Andrew Aitken, Lewis Woodall, with Barnikel, Wood, and Mensado to close out the grade of the course. Gary Gottsill, the honorary pace car driver, racing action here this afternoon. That is, again, one of the wildest finishes you could possibly see in an Indy 500. And we now are going to get the chance to give a chit-chat to all the drivers that finished this race from the podium. And we'll look to kick it off first and foremost with the man of the hour, Adam Blocker, coming home with a stellar drive this afternoon. And we will bring your 2024 Classic IndyCar Series Indy 500 winner into the booth. And Adam, you are one of only two drivers to get a repeat win in the biggest race of the CIS calendar year. Talk us through that wild 20-lap slugfest to the tail end.
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously we knew the track was going to cool coming into the race just because of the time of day it started. And, you know, so we set up our car up pretty aggressive, and the first part of the race we were struggling. Like, I think the Iconic guys were better at the very beginning of the race, but we didn't tune our car for that. And we were super strong in the middle, you know, where the track was cold, but not like ice cold. And then at the end, you know, the track kind of came back to some other guys, like Cam, for example. He was pretty fast at the end. It was really difficult to know how much to trim for that last run because, you know, we were on a partial tank and, you know, but I think I got it about right. Yeah, and the restart was crazy, you know, had to pass Marshall, which I assume he got lucky with the yellow, like must have been in the pits or something. And then, yeah, I don't know. I was surprised that Cam was so patient, but I guess he kind of knew that if he passed me with like 5 to go, then I would have a shot to get him back, so.
Overall, you were the dominant car of the day. You led the most laps for sure. You were always up there at the front. We did see you at some point strategically kind of ducking out a line, dropping towards the tail of that little battle pack down to fifth. Was that to try to save a little bit of fuel middle of the run?
At that, I think the first stint, one of the guys got inside of me, and I just wasn't. I was kind of struggling at that point because, like I said, our car wasn't as good in the hot weather. So, you know, when he got inside of me, I wasn't sure what the Highline would do, so I kind of just lifted, and then, you know, they kind of just all got on a run. And I knew it didn't matter at that point, so I dropped to fifth, and yeah, I mean, is just kind of being patient and not trying to go too wide through the corner on lap 20.
So far, we've only seen you running the Indy 500 for the Classic IndyCar Series, and so far, you have a 100% win record in this league. Not something a lot of drivers can boast to. Have you considered going for a full-time competition in 25?
Probably not. I just have too many things going on between real life and sim racing. But you know, the Indy 500 has definitely been fun. The couple times I've been able to run it, and you know, maybe I'll run it again sometime, or maybe some of the other Triple Crown races I'd be open to running. But yeah, I mean, for now, yeah, it's just a big commitment to run a full season. So.
We're going to have to bid you farewell from here. Congratulations, regardless, on taking home the your second win for the Indianapolis 500, and hopefully we'll see you again for pole day once again in 25.
Yeah, I just want to thank you know, Henry and the other guys at Powerslide for building this awesome setup platform that we've been using for a few years now, and you know, it's been really successful. So huge shout out to them, and yeah, just thanks to Robert for running the league, and you guys for calling the race. See you all sometime.
Adam Blocker takes his second Indy 500 win. The only two races he has started so far in this season will bring down Marshall Stanley, the driver that was only 16th thou off of the top step. He is standing by with Austin Edstrom.
Oh, Marshall, that was so unbelievably close. We didn't talk about you too much all night, and then you hit the strategy perfect at the end, getting up at the front, having a chance to win this thing. What was running through your mind coming off of turn 4 on that last lap?
Honestly, I was still somewhat shocked that Cameron hit the wall, or it sounded like he scraped the wall from when we were talking post race. But yeah, I kind of thought of a couple options. I knew Adam was trimmed out a lot, and Adam knows what he's doing around this place. He's no slouch, and kind of thought maybe usually with that turn 1, usually the move will happen at 3, and I wasn't able to get there, and he did a good job of being able to cover. And I thought maybe with how the straight line speed was going into 4 with the wind, I thought maybe you could get a run there. But looking at it again, it was kind of a give and take of would it parachute you? You know, Cam's not my teammate, and even if he was my teammate, he's not going to care, so he's going to go for the win too. So there was a lot that went into it, and you make split-second decisions. And honestly, I'm surprised I even got that close, and shocked I even got here from I think 32nd or wherever the heck I started today. So it was a hectic day today.
Yeah, I'm looking at iRacing right now. It says you started in 26, so you were well back in what, row 9, all the way.
Yeah, I actually ended up with the rear grid that they had after bump day, so it moved me back to 32nd instead of where I ended up qualifying for bump day, which was totally fine. It was a penalty I had in Phoenix that just didn't get accounted for, and yeah, it was. Honestly, our goal today, and I told Nolan this during bump day, was just try to go catch Robert, because Robert seemed to be really quick, and during practice we felt like we had a fast car, but Henry and Adam are very, very good here, and you can't underestimate guys like that are fast. Cameron, same thing. You can't underestimate guys like that. So I was still skeptical. Lucas was reassuring of this is quick. We could make something happen, and Lucas showed it today for sure. And yeah, I think all in all, the team did so well. Like, shout out to Tristan and Jan and Robert and Lucas, like, for the lack of time, honestly, that we took for this week, especially for race trim, because we love focusing on this. I'm so happy with how the car turned out in the second half of the race. It was a rocket ship.
Well, Marshall, congratulations on second place here tonight, man. It was a hell of a drive. If I was starting this race today and I knew I was starting in 32nd and somebody told me I would finish second at the end of the race, I'd be pretty daggum happy. So hell of a drive from you.
Yeah, time to go to Vegas, man. I'm getting lucky.
No kidding. With the momentum going into next season, are you hyped up for next year now a little bit more now that you've had such a good run to end it off? Yeah,
of course. This year didn't go as planned at all. I've had lots of terrible performances, had pace, but not long run pace, so it would make lots of mistakes, and had, run-ins and crashes that shouldn't have been in to begin with. So yeah, I think this is good. I think this is good momentum for our team. We didn't really have the best year as a team, and I think as well as we did finishing wise, even though Jan wasn't able to stay with us, I think we have really good momentum going into next year. So hopefully we can get that team championship back in our house.
Well, Marshall, congratulations to the entire team then on a good end of the season, at least ending off on a high here with the second place. And looking forward to seeing what y'all can do next year. You got anybody to thank at the end of this one?
Just the boys of Vortex and NCIS and the admins that work on that. They've been doing this for a decade now, or at least the longer part of a decade. And yeah, it's always fun to come back and run with the boys on Sunday. So I'm excited to come back next year.
Well, thank you for taking some time to come up and talk to us here, Marshall, and congratulations once again.
Thanks, guys. Thank you guys for the broadcast.
We appreciate you, Marshall. That was your second place finisher, Marshall Stanley, the driver of the number 25 here tonight. Next up, I believe we're going to be able to talk to Cameron Dance.
It is a clean sweep on the championships in 2024 for the driver of Auckland, New Zealand. And Cameron, Road Course Championship, Overall Championship, and now the Oval Championship. And I think despite a tough break on not able to go for the win this afternoon, nothing can take away that you have just taken, the holy trinity effectively for the Classic IndyCar Series, and sweeping all 3 titles. That's got to feel good, and a nice consolation prize for missing out on the 500 win.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome to wrap up all 3 championships, obviously. No, a little bit gutting that I couldn't quite get the 500 as well, but the podium's still pretty good even then, so it adds to another podium on the list of finishing in this race, so I'm pretty happy with that. A little bit annoyed with myself that I actually clipped the outside wall and didn't also trim out a little bit more aero at the end there, because I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen, but yeah, still podium, pretty good result regardless, based on the fact that I think the weather threw a complete curveball to what everybody was going to be expecting to begin with, and then obviously wrap up the rest of the championships.
Kind of walk us through the last 15 or so laps there. We kept thinking you were going to go for that move, and every time you were just waiting and waited and waiting. You waited all the way until the last lap where it went a little bit wrong.
Yeah, obviously I was trying to set a run up or something, but I just had too much aero on. Like, I should have trimmed out a lot more, and as a result, what was happening was I was basically getting right up to Adam's gearbox, and then I was just aero stalling, and I couldn't go any faster. So it was like, oh, well, this is going to end up having to do some sort of trickery around the outside or something to try and get a run on him. But yeah, it would have been interesting to see what happened at turn 1. I was going to probably just Hail Mary it, throw weight checker at it, pray that I didn't fence it and just go from there. But yeah, it was definitely going to be a hard battle with Adam, like regardless of even if I trimmed out or not. Like, he wasn't going to make it easy for me. So yeah, credit to him obviously for the awesome battle, and then Marshall behind us made it all interesting as well.
And then, of course, with you having swept the 2024 season, I think it's all eyes forward now to 2025, of course, for you. The 2025 championship, it's a real interesting schedule and a lot more high-speed ovals we're going to be going to. Except for the, like the usual 2 that we, well, not short tracks like Richmond, of course, but then you got Kentucky, Chicagoland, Auto Club, obviously Indy's back on the schedule, and a lot different on the road course side of things as well. So a completely new ballpark for next season. Are you going to be back for more?
Yeah, hopefully looking to be back for more. I'm looking forward to what the schedule holds. It's looking like it's a pretty good schedule, and obviously there's a couple of tracks that we've raced at before and we know we were strong at, so it'll be probably a good season if we turn back up and try and go back to back. There's a couple of new ones as well, which will be interesting to see how they race, but I think it'll be a really, really good season regardless, and it'll be an interesting fight for the championship as well if Tuomas does every round too.
Well, we wish you the best of luck then. Hopefully we'll be seeing you back once again in February, or I think it's actually March we're starting things off in, but we'll see you then, Cameron. Congratulations on the Oval Championship this afternoon.
Yeah, cheers, boys.
Cameron Dance takes 3rd in the Indy 500, and he will also take the clean sweep for the 2024 IndyCar Series Championships. And with that, we'll bring in Robert Groscher, of course, the founder of one of the founders of the Classic IndyCar Series, and Robert, it's your 10th year of competition, and finally it draws to a close. A wild race, and I think a really good race to cap off what's been an awesome season so far. Kind of talk us through how the whole championship's been for you for a 10th season.
Yeah, first of all, I'm pretty exhausted right now after managing this league for the whole year, 14 races, then whole day, bump day qualifying, but it's also great fun at the same time. This final race was, I think you can't ask for anything more. Very exciting finish, very exciting also in between, different strategies, not too many cautions, although maybe a bit caution heavy at the beginning, so a very, very nice way to end the season. Very deserving win by Adam, who was definitely dominating the race at times. So yeah, all things considered, really happy about how the season went, and I can promise we will come back for an 11th year, and I hope we will do even better.
It's been a long 10 years, and it's a bit it's almost a bit jarring to think that you've been going at it now for 10 years straight. I mean, doing the same stuff, and you still have good races week in, week out. Kind of walk us through that 10-year journey that takes us to where we are today.
That's a very long story, but I try to cut it very short. Yeah, actually, the idea to start this league came 10 years or a bit more than 10 years ago, when the IRO5 was put into retirement on the iRacing service, and that was really the car which I loved quite a lot. I had a very strong, very rough start with the DW12, so I thought, no, that can't be it. We have to do something. We have to keep this car alive. And then we started 10 years ago with a pure road racing series, a bit unusual for this chassis, which actually started as an oval-only chassis, and then in 2016 we added the ovals and never looked back, and then the league really took off. We have a great bunch of drivers, some of them also in their 10th year already in competition, or at least 5, 6, 7 years, very loyal to us, and big thanks to everyone who did this journey together with us and is making it possible.
And you mentioned you're going to be back for an 11th year. We're going to be back for an 11th year as well. What's next up for the league in 2025?
Yeah, we have put together another schedule of 14 races. We hope that we can keep many of the drivers from this year and finding some new over the winter. We hope that we have an interesting schedule, a nice mix again of a different variety of tracks. I hope people like it really. And it will be another long season, challenging season. As you saw, it is tough competition here. And we just hope it is the same excitement, the same fun that we had this year.
Well, here's to hoping. Robert, thank you for having us along for this 10th anniversary season, and we are all looking forward to more come 25 and beyond.
Yeah, thanks, Nolan. Thank you very much. I would like to steal some more time from you to give a bit of a shout out to all the supporters of the league, especially for this year. First of all, I would like to start with you, Nolan. After iRacing allowed us to have broadcasts again, we both found together, kind of, and I'm together with Austin, Ryan. It's a great team there at Green Flag TV, and I really have to give you also some praise. What you were doing for this league to support, to make each and every broadcast amazing. That is, it's not enough time to mention it all here. It was really amazing. So big thanks to you and the whole team. And of course to our sponsors. Buttkicker was really great again this year, giving some amazing prizes for the champions, Rookie of the Year, Oval Champion, Road Champion. Really, really amazing. Pavement Recycling Systems sponsoring 10 races this year as a title sponsor, and today for Indy giving away $300 in prize money. That is really, really amazing. Thanks so much for this support. And of course Edifice Inc., who were also sponsoring 2 races this year. Also big thanks. Big thanks to my team behind the scenes, Jan, Andrew Adair, Todd, the stewards who are investigating all the incidents after each race. I couldn't do that without you. My time has been quite limited this year for reasons I don't want to tell right now, but it has been tough, but we kept it going as a team, and that's a great spirit also behind the scenes. And finally again a big thanks to each and every driver of this league who is contributing to amazing races. Great spirit on the Discord, sharing setups, helping with hardware questions and all this kind of stuff which is going on. That is really amazing, and I really hope it stays like this for the years to come. Thanks a lot.
And thank you as well again, Robert, for allowing us to host the series and for having you guys along. Robert Grosser, the one of the founders of the Classic Indycar series, and of course one of its leading figures that has been here right from day one. And well, Austin, that is going to be about all the time for one afternoon, but holy cow. I mean, what a race. What a wild, wild race. You could not have asked for a better way to close out the 2024 championship year. 10 years of racing, and there's still yet more to come. We've already been locked in for 2025 and potentially even 26 and beyond. If the racing was anything like this season, and with bigger fields now that we're back to broadcasting these guys, you know it's going to be good.
I can't wait. I'm telling you, I mean, this race today was fantastic from the drop of the green flag and then the finish. I mean, what a way to cap off the season. Stanley almost coming up with a big underdog victory, but it ended up being Bennett that, was able to hang on to it. Or sorry, not Bennett. I already forgot who won it. It's Blocker. Adam Blocker is the one that ran away with this one. But man, what a job he did at the end of this thing to hold off Stanley and Dance. Just what a fantastic race.
Still more racing to come as well on Green Flag TV. Tonight, the Israel Next Gen Cup Series has their second to last race of the season at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, with a High Tide Race League M4D Premier Series back out to the Tricky Triangle on Monday night. And then, of course, on Wednesday, it's the Beer League with their 6th round of competition from Circuit de 24 Heures du Mans, the Le Mans circuit over in the French countryside. If you want to find out more about who you are, what we can offer you, check us out today on www.greenflagtv.com. Speedway.com. Once again, a huge, huge thank you to the Classic IndyCar Series for allowing us to come along and be a part of this absolutely spectacular journey. 2025 might seem like a world away, but when time flies, it's not going to be too far away at all. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone that has joined us so far for Racing Action. We'll see you back in 2025.